first time I'm running the stream, boys and girls. So give me a bit of leeway. Got no one watching, which is not the best start, but you know what I mean. I suppose people will watch it on the replay. I might just get straight into it and bring on our first resident Hexican. He's a safety guru, all the way from the other side of Australia, and he's got a website called safehex.win, which gives you all the great tips for noobs. I highly recommend checking that out. And without further ado, we welcome Jexa.
Hey, how are we, guys?
Hey, man, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Good to be on here again. I don't normally come on the Saturday night session, so this is new for me.
Yeah. This is where it all happens. This is where the real stuff goes on, the real action.
Cool. Just so I'm aware of what's going on with the YouTube side of things, which channel are we hosting out on?
Do you want me to put it in the? I'll see if I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, if you don't mind, I'm not sure whether on the usual channel these days. It's good that you've taken the reins, mate.
Yeah. Just thought we give OG43 a little break. Let him do his studies and.
Oh, he's got a busy life at the moment. He's
about to have a baby. Yeah. So
that's got to slow you down a little bit.
Yeah, that would, wouldn't it? How many children do you have?
I've got two girls. So, and one of them's having a sleepover tonight, so you'll probably hear a bit of squealing in the background.
Yeah, okay. Nice. Yeah, so what an eventful week, hey? Well, actually, what we'll do is we'll just we've got Hexmac in the back room here. He's been doing the hardcore live streaming all day. He's on Discord Syndicate, and then I've heard he's been hanging out in the green room, giving us all the hot gossip on what happens in the green room. And the one who wants to build around the walls, build over the walls, and not necessarily fight people. He's the love maker of Hex. Everyone welcome Hexmac.
How are you, buddy?
Hey, brother.
Good, boys. How are you?
This is a full-time gig for you now, mate, isn't it?
Oh, just about. It's weird when you wake up and then it's like, oh, okay, there's 10 hours gone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the sounds of it, you've done the whole stream with the DS guys, and then you spent a fair bit of time in the green room as well. So that is a full day.
Absolutely, the green rooms are where it's at.
Yeah, I've heard that's a little bit of the sparks are flying, hey. Although I'll tell you what, they were flying on Discord Syndicate today. That was a great stream, and there was all sorts of I don't know how you describe it. Passionate people on there. Yeah. Informed, passionate people.
Yeah, I still haven't got to watch the whole lot of that, but I got the general gist of the first half of it, and a few controversial topics brought up as well. All right.
Yeah, totally. There should be. Yeah, just talk it all out. I love that. Yeah. Do you have a good time? Do you have a good time in the green room, Hexmac?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Otherwise, I would have bailed and gone off and done other things, and life gets in the way of things. But nice sacrifice.
Are you full-time crypto, mate, or you got a day job? You got to
pretty much. I am still working at a day job at the minute, just to stack more and do something with the day other than just because you can wake up week after week after week in Hex, and it's like, oh man, like it's just, it doesn't end, it doesn't stop, it goes on and on and on and on. So sometimes you got to take a bit of a step back and
and you've got to step back and pull your head out of the space every now and then. I noticed that in the last bull run, I was heavily involved and spending a lot of hours, and mainly because I was wanting to learn a lot more about the space as well. And then I just had this, like, charts were going mad and price was going mental, and just had this real surreal moment. I mean, this is just, it doesn't feel real. It's all weird, and there's just this magic money sort of thing. I mean, okay, I've got to step away from it a while.
Yeah, get a bit of perspective, hey? And like, it's really fun. I'll tell you what, I love being a Hexican. I love getting into it and listening to all the streams, being part of the community, everything like that. And but it's definitely taken over my life a lot. But I think integration is the key point. Get out there, live your life, do get out there and be physical, active, do your stuff, and you know, and you can also have fun when you come on stream there as well, and you know. And
speaking about being active, have you got something you're going to show everyone later on? Or?
I'm not going to know because I chucked it up on Twitter, but in my computer at the moment, I've actually ordered a new computer thanks to my Hex games.
Nice.
But it'll be coming in about a little over a week, hopefully. And but the computer I'm using at the moment, I tried it a couple of times as a test run, and it was like it just absolutely sat itself.
At least we can see
video at the same time.
Yeah, at least we can see you these days. It used to be all pixelated.
Yeah, I know. I don't know what that was from. I think I started like putting the res down on the screen. I actually haven't touched it now, but yeah, like I think that was part of it. But yeah, I'm getting one of those new Apples, one of the MacBook Airs with the M1 chip, and so hopefully I'll be able to do a bit of editing as well.
You'll be able to run the whole new chain on that then, mate.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, validator. Yeah. I'd love to be a validator.
Yeah,
I mean, I could follow instructions. I wouldn't know what I was doing really, though. I tried setting up a whole like validating node on another chain like last year. They were having this offer where you get paid in their crypto if you set it up, and so I thought, I'll give that a go, and it was all pretty kind of, I had to learn how to set up an Ubuntu, virtual machine, and had to learn Go a little bit, copy and paste Go, learn how to install stuff and all that kind of stuff, and it was great because you had the Discord and you could be in there just kind of asking questions and all that, and I learned heaps in that week, but I also learned enough to know that, like, if I was ever a validating node on something, I would just be there to do what other people say, because there was a level of complexity that was just, a little bit beyond me, I think.
It depends on your level of interest as well, though, mate. If you're, like, Hex is a bit of a different beast, and you probably got a lot more incentive to
learn it.
To get it,
That's
to roll the
absolutely
sleeves
true.
up. And,
Oh, mate, I can only imagine that whatever Richard decides to set up is going to be rewarding for each, like he's going to get the incentives in place. And so I imagine that any validating node will probably have to lock up a lot of Hex, I imagine. And they'll probably, who knows? We've got no idea,
Yeah, and there's a lot of speculation at the moment about it might not be Hex that needs to get locked up. It might be something else, but definitely
but you would imagine that, it will get the incentives right for those validating nodes to make it worth their while to really, be on it and stuff like that. And I can't wait to see what he comes up with, actually. It's going to be fascinating to see how he fiddles with all the different things and how he sets it up, and then how he sells it as well, that's going to be really, really interesting. But we've got another Hexican in the green room. She's the princess of Twitter, princess of Hex. She's a force of nature. She's got her own show as well that she hosts, the Ladies of Hex. Everyone please welcome Sammy Chica.
Hello.
Hey, Sammy. Haven't seen you for a while.
Hey, it's been a while. What's going on, guys?
Yeah, going well. Are you rocking the hoodie?
Yep. Got my Hex hoodie on. It's a bit cold down here in Melbourne. Outside. What are you guys up to? What's going on?
We can't have
I think the title
meet up in Melbourne. We've got to be somewhere hot and hot and sweaty, I reckon.
Come up your way, I think, Blue Bum.
Yeah. Maybe we should get onto some of those half-price tickets and everyone come up to Cairns. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. You're always in a T-shirt, Blue Bum.
And that's only for the streams. Normally I'm just naked.
How you going, Blue Bum?
I'm excellent, yeah. No, I'm really good. I'm really kind of enjoying, hosting. I'm taking it on a little bit, you know what I mean? Getting all organised, testing it all out, and putting the word out and stuff like that. And I'm going really well. Been listening to DS all day, and and then I was on that's what I wanted to ask you, Jexa. Sorry, before I forget, because I was in the Hex chat, because I don't know if Hexicans don't know this yet, but in the actual Telegram Hex channel, we have a voice channel. So people can go in there, and I think since Richard kind of spun it up, I think it has been, the capability has been there for a long time, but he spun it up the other day, and it's we don't need any invitations. You just go in there and you can listen or you can talk. And so, I was in there and you were in there as well the other night.
Yeah. Yep.
And I asked a question, and then I hit mute and all the sound went, and so I didn't hear the answer. And I don't know if you caught my question. Did you?
Which one was that?
I was just asked. Well, I asked Richard why 80 validators, and I did hear the answer to that number afterwards. But I also then asked him what are the possible attacks that you'd have to defend against for a proof of stake chain, and I didn't hear his answer. Did you hear it?
I remember this exactly.
I didn't hear it. I'm just trying to think.
Oh, you were there, Matt, as well, Hex Matt?
Yeah, I was there last night, like 1 or 2 a.m. He said that for a proof of work chain, there's a bunch, and you'll get 51% attacked, pretty much, if you try and drop the system state on another chain or another fork or whatever. But he said for proof of stake, there aren't really any attack vectors.
You basically select the validators. So and it depends whether you do like a delegated proof of stake where everyone gets to vote, or whether it's just
that's the voting thing, right?
Yeah.
That's what delegated. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So something like an EOS, they have 21 validators, and then there's a whole raft of backup nodes as well that are sitting there ready to take position 21 off of someone that falls out of the list. So if someone stops processing transactions, then they drop off the list, or if someone that's delegated proof of stake, so if someone votes them up, they can get moved up the order and take their position from standby to a full node.
Yeah, my guess is that he won't do a delegated because I think he hates voting. And
well, the only reason you do that, you got to encourage a lot of people to do that to get staking rewards and all that sort of shit.
Yeah. And also there was those shenanigans with Steam, where like there was a whole lot of Steam that was on the Binance exchange, and Justin Sun got his mate CZ to turn all of that Steam into votes for him, and that's how he took over.
Essentially, essentially what you end up with is your economic centralization also becomes your consensus centralization as well, because if someone controls the majority of the supply, then they can swing the vote however they like. So
So he'll probably do straight up like proof of stake, eh?
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I'd jump at the chance to run a node as well and get more involved.
So how would you get chosen to run a node? And hey, Jex, how you going, mate?
Yeah, I'm travelling all right over this way.
Yeah,
still early for me over here.
Where are you? Are you in Perth?
Yeah, I'm over in WA. Yeah.
Oh yeah, you're 3 hours behind, so you're about 6:30 p.m. Yeah.
Yep, spot on. Yep.
Cool. So how would they pick the people to be nodes?
Well, we don't know yet. Is the short answer.
We don't know, but generally to be, if you think like a master node, you've got to hold a certain amount of stake to be able to, first of all, be able to run a node. And then I think Richard mentioned something. He didn't sort of, I think he said whoever held the most would have sort of like the preference to run a node. And if they chose not to, then it would fall further down the list as long as you held enough.
Maybe you'd have to have like over 1,000 shares or something like that.
I don't reckon it'd be based. I don't think it'd be based on shares.
It'd just be purely on this other.
It would have to be like
come up with. Right.
Yeah, I think it would have to. I can't see how you would. Hex is its own thing.
But you could have proof of shares or something like that. Like
potentially.
So that you know that the validators have. Well, you want to know that the validators are not only just there to validate the chain, but also specifically for Hex.
So you'd have to
interest in that.
It depends whether you want to link the two, though. So, yeah, it's great we're building this another chain that we can drop Hex onto, but I don't know that you'd want to integrate them too much because Hex is its own working product already. It does what it needs to do.
I don't know if they'd be integrated though. Like if it's just proof of having over a certain amount of shares, then I mean it's definitely that the validators have a stakehold in the
Yeah, no, that's
what
that's
he's
true.
building
Yeah,
it for, you know.
yeah,
Look,
yeah.
I'm sure
That could well work.
And in the end, there's going to be all sorts of ideas thrown around, and they're in such early days yet, and so it's all just conjecture. But it's fun to kind of like also
speculate about it. And,
yeah.
And I think
Mac. Sorry, go, Jack.
No, you go. You go.
I was going to say, you look wrecked, mate. You've been on stream all day. Yeah, you love
I haven't showered. I haven't eaten. I haven't done anything.
He's just got a bucket under his seat there.
Yeah.
So was the green room on fire tonight or what?
Oh, it was off the chain. Yeah,
Yeah.
Markable tweeted about it. He's just like, I think he's like, the green room is really where the Hexicans streams get gold.
Who was in there?
Day 43 was in there for fucking like half an hour.
Was Wales and RG both in there?
Yeah, Wales was in there. RG was in there. Kinetics was in there. Literally everyone that was on stream. And then
was it a continuation of the conversation that was going on?
Yeah.
I thought that would have rattled a few.
yeah. It certainly did. And there were a few surprise like pop-ins. Like JFK was there.
Yep.
So John.
He loves it. He was probably getting blind, was he?
He'll have a bit of a gab, yep. If you're watching this, JFK, I love you, brother. I think what you do for the community is great.
The best Mo in Hex.
Yes, absolutely. Oh man, and he's making some cool little content, cartoony Hex clips at the minute, which we got a little bit of a backstage preview of, and they were very good. Coming along nicely. So he popped in. Franklin popped in for a bit. But everyone who was pretty much on the stream was stayed around until the end. It was just me and Markable at the end for probably half an hour.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
How's your new job going, Mac?
It's going good. It's a bit unorganized at the minute. So I'm helping to start up this new startup, I guess you would say. It's a new company, it's a new brand, like a retail store that's going to be opened in Malvern.
Wow, sounds exciting.
Yeah, week or two. If you're around, come down. There'll be some free shit.
Malvern, that's like the other side of the world for me, mate.
Yeah, it's true.
Eastern suburb.
But if you have kids, I'm sure that your kids will like the brand. Go and check it out. Go and give it a bit of a Google.
Drop it in chat.
What's the brand, mate? I missed it.
I will. Can you hear that?
What's that?
I just said Google, and my Google Home Mini
just
gone off and started fucking talking to me.
I can't believe you got one of them. I wouldn't trust that shit in my house.
I didn't buy it. It's a hand-me-down from the parents.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Everything you buy these days has got this shit integrated in it. TVs, everything, man. Crazy.
I've got one.
They got one of those little Nest minis with the screen and the tablet, and I got the hand-me-down little. This is the circular disc.
Yeah. It'd make a really good hockey puck.
I've never used it, and it just won't shut the fuck up. Like, I'll say Google, and it'll go off again now.
So you don't even use it, and you just have it around. You just want them to listen to you.
Oh, yeah. Listen, man. I hope you're fucking listening. Sorry.
Listen to me, guys. This is the way it is.
I'm still fired up.
You can't gatekeep us.
No, that's the Hexican mantra. Like, you won't cater to us. You won't, get on board with this thing. We're just going to build the hell around you. And we should.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah,
so we should stay out. Oh, yeah, go on.
I was just saying in that the voice chat in Telegram, saying for a project where you're just supposed to lock your coins up and sit back and forget about everything, it's a fair bit going on. I seem to spend a lot of time doing stuff on it.
But you know what? For me, the whole news was just super bullish. Like, super bullish. Sure. Because we will always have the Hex on the East chain. We will have our stakes. And so anything new that we get, which is going to be better, where there's lower fees, that is just. Mark wants to jump in. Yeah, sure. Give him the the link. Oh, yeah,
He's a machine as well.
He's back.
Yeah.
I think Blue. I think you.
Yeah, everyone's welcome. I've got to click something, do I? I can't actually. I only see 4 people here. I don't see how I can.
Send him the link. Send him the link, and if he opens the link, he should come into the green room.
Yeah, so you've got.
Yeah, I only see 4 people here, and so this is my first time, and I'm not really sure how to.
So you must be streaming elsewhere as well, because I can see more viewers than that within Restream. So there must be viewers elsewhere that are. I could be wrong.
Viewers?
He's saying to me he's in the green room, so I'm not sure how that.
Oh, he's in the green. Are you sure he's in our green room?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, hang on. Yeah, I've got him. Okay.
We know what we're doing.
There's just a sly little bloody hell, and you can't scroll down. Okay, so all the way from the Netherlands, we've got another stream addict. He's the voice of, he's a cool, calm voice of reason, and he's just been coming on the scene recently. Everyone, please welcome Markable Thoughts.
Yeah.
He has got me.
What's
up, guys?
Hey, Markable. Welcome, mate.
Good to be here. Yeah,
Yeah.
thanks,
So you got up at what, 4 o'clock this morning?
Yes.
And what time is it there
12
now?
It's almost 12.
Oh my gosh.
Beautiful,
I
man.
just got some food after the FN hangout, and Mac invited me, so I thought, well, I can do another stream. That's fine.
Yeah, come on. The more the merrier. Yeah.
I like these streams, man. It's pretty
So I
cool.
just want to quickly finish that thought, right? So we're going to, obviously, we're on Ethereum forever. That's all immutable. That's done. It's going to live there forever. We're going to have those stakes forever. Then we're going to move into another state, which is hopefully going to be even better with cheaper fees and everything like that. But there's still going to be a market. Now, I know that when there are other forks, one fork normally goes, next, becomes 10% or 20% of the value. But I was thinking with Hex, we still have our stakes. So the value proposition is still there. It's going to cost us more to end stake and stuff like that. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's still a market on the old Hex as well. And so I just thought that was incredibly bullish. And
there's the potential for it, but I don't know whether it would survive.
Yeah, it's conjecture, but I'm conjecturing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just think it's different from just like a BCH or something like that. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't, the value doesn't automatically go away. Like it's still there, and who knows what it will be in the future. But the real super bullish thing was just like the attitude. I think it was just the right. We're getting stuffed up. Let's roll up our sleeves and get on this and like fix this problem. And what more can you want from someone who didn't have to do anything really? You know what I mean? And yeah, it's just like he's got our backs. He really does have our backs. You know what I mean? Like we've committed to putting out loads of money out into the future because we believe in the project, and he's just totally got our back. Well, and that's I really feel that. You
heard what he said with Chris Black. It's about the glory now.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he's going for glory, and I'm like, yeah.
Why not, man? Yeah,
absolutely.
Build something that changes the world a bit.
Yeah, totally. Save the world.
It's a reciprocal thing as well, because like as much as he's got our back, we've got his back.
Absolutely.
So that's a beautiful thing.
What about the airdrop? Do you reckon if they do an airdrop, it'll just be for liquid or staked Hex as well?
Oh, it'll be the whole lot. It's going to be the whole kit and boodle. Like
I think Sammy's talking about the additional token or coin or
Oh, that'll be that's just to secure the other network. Like whatever that's worth, that'll be worth. Like and if we get some of that, great. If not, I mean, it's like he'll have to. I have no idea what he'll do in terms of that airdrop, but like. That's just triples the things that we get.
So there's no point having a network like that unless you've got you've been able to distribute the tokens somewhere, because otherwise that's really hard to boot the network up from nothing. So it would make sense that everyone would get airdrops.
But you might just give it to ETH holders, hey?
Doubt it.
Well, he did that. Well, that's what he did with the BTC. He said you can free claim, and I think he mentioned that in one of the streams. He said, they got free hex through claiming through their BTC, and only 3% of BTC holders actually claim. So it might be something similar to that, where he says, okay, you've got a claim period, and you've got a time thing where if you do it would make
sense to do multiple things, because first of all, you need a community that is going to come together and get behind it. And if you drop it to ETH holders,
they'll dump it.
They're on the ETH chain. That's what they support.
Yeah, but he could have thought that about the BTC holders as well, and a lot of them did and have.
Do you think that was the best people to drop it to? In hindsight,
probably. Yeah, probably.
Really?
Yeah, I think. Well, for what he knew at the time, he didn't know he was going to get so much hatred. He thought he was giving them like an opportunity to get in on the next best thing, and he was going to give it to them for free.
It also had an inverse mechanism built into it, where it was like, okay, you BTC guys, if you're not going to claim this stuff, it's going to come back right to where it needs to belong. So whether he did it intentionally as I want this for adoption, or he did it as like a test, there's a lot of that stuff.
I think he really wanted the adoption from it. Like that was the whole. It was give them a small taste of something. Give them something for free, so that they get an interest and they see it start going up in value, and they go.
He wanted to make new whales. He wanted to make new whales. Yeah. He limited the big whales about how much they could get, and he wanted to drop it to everyone and show them how to use it. You know, anybody, like all of us plebs holding through the bear season on our BTC or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like he wanted those guys to learn how to use it, and then eventually he wanted them to turn their BTC into Hex, no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, because they see the great potential of it. You know, total marketing, and it was. I mean, it was, and you know, like there was that time component where if they did it quickly, they got more, and also he got less. The OA got less. Like the quicker they did it, the less the OA got as well. Yep. So he put all those incentives in, you know.
I think that the most thought out of when it was a project, the most thought went into that side of it, I think, and all the code. I think there's a lot of code around that as well. So I think there's a lot of time and energy.
A ton of energy was put into that. Hey, like you read the layman's guide to the Hex contract, and it's like heaps of it's just about the free claim period, the free claim stuff.
Yeah, it's just there's probably people now that would go back and free claim, like the years gone past. And yeah, that's right. The years gone past, and there was all this shit that everyone was flinging. Now, given the chance, people would trip over themselves to free claim.
Even now, like that person who's dumping right at the moment that has like 30 million hex.
Yeah, we're going to have a chat about that, I think. Yeah,
they were a free claim, hey.
Yeah, so so for anyone that's not across that, so we got up to a point where we were about to break through a pretty important point of resistance on the price chart, and then out of nowhere we've seen someone dumping Hex at they're doing 5 million lots, so that's why you're seeing the big red candle come down when we sort of were up at just about to break through. So they dumped just over 5 mil, then they dumped another 5 mil, and last time I looked we're up to about 15 that they've dumped, which is not
they got 6. I looked and they got 16 mil left, so they're getting shaken out, and they've probably got great profits, and they got it all for free. So
if that's what their free claim is, the amount of BTC they would have been holding to claim that is substantial. So it's not
but the chart is holding, man.
It's good. There's nothing wrong with it. And then so they could have done that one of two ways. They could have just went boom and just dumped the whole lot, which is obviously not good for them from a slippage point of view. But if they were, so either they're trying to maximize their funds as they're inching out, or they may actually be trying to do it in a more controlled fashion as well, so that you're not shocking the market
But that's cool. That's
a little bit patient.
You know what I mean? That gives somebody else an opportunity to get it a bit cheaper, you know. And there's There's plenty of buy pressure, and there's like you go look at the staker app at like, or the whale bot, like how many people are staking each hour, and that's just like, it's solid. There's a million things staked every hour, you know, like
Good.
It's just so going weird up, to me, regardless of some person dumping. Yeah, sorry, Markable, what were you saying?
Yeah, it's just, I was just looking at the chart, and it's just so weird to me that you wait to dump until the chart shows you that it's breaking out.
Yeah, like, that's what I said in chat. Like, it makes no sense. Like, if you were patient, if you were patient and let that go to the breakout, you would double your bag. Like,
it doesn't make any sense. Like, everything in the chart is everything in the chart, and fundamentally right now with news and all that shows you that the chart should go up, and then you're dumping the moment it gets out of that pattern.
He's the only one stopping the price from going through that breakout zone. I don't know.
Some people are so short-sighted.
That must be only emotions, man. You can't make this up rationally. Rationally, it doesn't make any sense to do this.
They might not even be following it. You know what I mean? I was also noticing there was a couple of people who sold who have waited like months. Like, so they've been bleeding out for months and months, and then they must have finally realized they were holding this stuff and like went shit and sold it, you know?
Yeah, but at least you have to watch the chart, right? If you start to sell, you at least take a look at the chart, and just one glimpse at this chart, you see, oh, maybe I should wait a bit.
Yeah, Bluebum, you still with us, mate?
Yes, you can't see me?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I got you
You look like a jigsaw puzzle.
Oh, really? Yeah, the internet up here. I'm in far north Queensland.
Yeah, it might be on your end, Jax.
Is it?
Yeah, okay. He's coming in clear as day on my end.
All right, hang on. It'll be my VPN always does this.
Are you on VPN, Jax, over there?
Yeah, no, I've got a cracking connection, but when I switch on the VPN, whenever I'm on a live stream, it just it seems to kill it.
Shit, that's
what were we saying? We're talking about the price dump, and no, that's what I was going to say. I didn't realize how many stakes are sitting there bleeding out, and the size of the stakes that are actually bleeding out.
Yeah,
they're substantial.
Is it a lot? Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, like
a whole Etherscan page full of them.
Like,
and they're in the millions, like millions and millions. So whether they're could well be free claimers that have.
Like, really don't underestimate people's stupidity and unawareness and just onto itness. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be the same when the price pumps. We're going to see loads of emergency end stakes and people getting nuked. Like, we've already seen lots of people getting nuked. You know what I mean? Even, you know, your friend Jexa, who's a finance, someone who isn't onto it kind of person. Like, people just make dumb mistakes. You know, like. Well, I was going to ask you though, where did you find that list of people who are bleeding out?
Yeah, I can't remember where I've seen it now. It might have been on.
I glimpsed it on Twitter, but I can't remember.
No, I actually found where I don't know whether it was Hex Vision or it might have been. Let me have a quick look while we're going. I'll see if I can find it while you guys are chatting.
Was it in our chat, our private chat? There was a big one.
Yeah, I think I pasted it in there.
Yeah, that's where I saw it.
Good memory, Sammy.
I'll see if I can find the source.
I got a memory like this, to be honest.
I think I've got some other people in the room.
Oh, cool.
I can't believe it's difficult to. Oh, here we go. Okay, so I want to introduce. There's a guy who none of us have met, and he has been doing Hex videos every day, and he's an Aussie guy, and they're fantastic videos, and he's been doing well, I'll let him tell you about it. His name is Jianzup. And Jianzup, I'd love to welcome you to the chat.
All right. Awesome.
Hey, how you going?
Hey, how you going, bud?
Hey,
another Aussie.
The team.
I got to be honest, I wasn't aware of your channel, and I think Bluebum might have posted it in our private chat the other day, and I went and checked it out, and you've been pretty solid, mate. You've been making a lot of videos.
Yeah, I did it. I finally did the 90 days. It wasn't easy, I'll tell you. It was, the hexologist, obviously, with the motivation to do it, because it's, he's up to 400 and something days, right? Or whatever it is, 300 and something, 400 and something. So just to do 90, not an easy thing, but yeah,
got it
So
all
just
done.
explain a little bit about what you actually did, Kenza.
Yeah, I was just thinking, okay, most people when they think of a term deposit, so a CD, they're only really doing it for 12 months, 16 months, 9 months, that type of thing. So I thought, okay, just to get normal people interested in looking at something like this, how am I going to do this? And I thought, I'll just do 90 days and just show them that it's just like a term deposit. You just put in your money in, you're getting the interest, and then you're pulling it out. But the difference obviously is, the volatility with regards to the price and the fees. It's something that you get normally in a term deposit. It's like, it cost me like $4.60 to go into the contract. And now I had a look today, and I'll get the advice from you guys. And I was just listening to what you guys were talking about earlier as well, with everybody just doing strange things and you're trying to work out what they're doing. It's almost like, none of us can give any financial advice. So, sometimes I think people need some financial advice on what to do. So I'm still thinking what I'm going to do, because I tried to end the stake today and it was like $50.
That's great. Mm-hmm. That's not too bad.
That's too bad. That's right.
The price has gone up though.
That's actually pretty good.
Tell us like how much actually, before you do that, I just want to introduce there's one more person in the green room.
Damn.
And
Blue Bomb is so good at introducing people. I just wanted to.
Yeah, this guy is he's a noob. He's a bit of a noob to Hex. He has got the lowdown a little bit, but he has he's here to kind of like ask us a few questions about it as well. And so everyone, give a big round of applause to Agno.
Hello.
Hey everybody.
Hey guys, can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for the introduction, Blue Bum. But I can't say I've got a crazy past like making videos and stuff. But my mate introduced me to Hex about December of last year, so just before, or maybe it was November, it was just before the big payday. And he said that there's this whole like revolutionary new coin that's paying close to 40% APY, and I didn't even know what APY was, didn't even know what crypto was, but we sort of started getting into it, and then pretty much the rest is history. Met Blue Bum last night, which was good. He said to come on the stream, but yeah, guys, I'm really keen. I can see that the Hex community is eager. Keen to learn, keen to share knowledge, and it's good that we're not knowledge hoarding like losers. We're we're putting it out in the open, which I think is lovely. So yeah, happy to be here. Thanks.
So did you didn't have a crypto background at all?
Not really. Like I'd bought about $1,000 of crypto of Bitcoin back in I think early 2019, just to sort of understand how to buy something and what a buy order was, and how an exchange worked. But after that, I sort of laid low for a bit, and then I decided, sort of end of last year, beginning of this year, just to start putting some money in. So I've turned a little bit into a little bit. But I think more for me, it was just to understand like how markets work, volatility, and how I was saying to Blue Bum last night, the fact that you put in $100 and you wake up the next morning and it's at zero, like where else is it going to happen, sort of thing. But it teaches you a lot of lessons along the way, and I think that the more questions you ask, the more eager you are to, I guess, expand your horizons and to have people around you that are willing to share their knowledge. I think it's a good place to be.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I just want to go back to Cienza. So, like, you did the experiment, but let's just go. How much did you put in? And you haven't end staked yet. So I guess, like, let's just say you have to pay $50 for the end staking. How much profit do you reckon you'll make from that 90-day experiment?
Yeah, let me just see if I can bring this up. So just bring it up on the other screen. That way, I've got the numbers.
Hey, Signs, where are you from? Which part of Australia?
I'm in Sydney.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, Sydney. So what have I got? I've got total profit at the moment is $1,979. So out of that, 1,875 is principal profit, because I originally bought the 250,000 at 0.0054. And now, obviously, by this spreadsheet, it's 0.0129. And the interest I made was $108.84 as per that price that it was there. And yeah, like I said, it was only $4.62 to get into the contract. So even if I lose $50 for exit, I still would have made about $58 interest alone.
How long was that stake? Is that
a 90-day stake?
90-day, yeah. Geez, that's expensive for a 90-day in stake.
Yeah, I know.
The year stakes have been around about that price, 65 to 85 US, I think.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Maybe tomorrow, because technically today was Friday, right? So even though it's Saturday for us, so I'm thinking maybe I'll have a look on Sunday, and worst case Monday, and I can always wait another week. Just trying to reduce it a little bit. I was hoping it'd be around the $30 mark.
I've got a couple that I've just been sitting on waiting for lower fees, and I think basically you're going to have to bite the bullet on a few of these now and end them. Just take the fee on the chin, because if you leave it past, when is it, April 14th or something, when the hard fork happens on Ethereum?
Can I ask? Sorry,
good point.
Go for it, Jackson.
Good point.
Yeah, I think you're going to be paying. I think it's like 4 times as much. Is that correct, Mac?
It was 2.7.
2.7.
Something else. Yeah. Like 4. So an 8 is it? That multiplied at both.
Okay. Right. Okay. So basically, you're going to get crushed on fees if you don't.
It's going to be big.
Yeah. I'll definitely do it. I was just to show it, so if somebody does see that, then they think, oh, that's not too bad. $100 or $50 interest or whatever. It's not bad for 90 days. If you're looking at a term deposit, a normal term deposit, what are you getting these days? 1% if you're lucky.
If that.
You wouldn't even be getting
not
that.
for 90 days.
This will be a perfect experiment to run on the new chain.
So how long is it going to take to get to the new chain? 6 months? Longer?
I think that's ambitious, but...
Yeah, Richard was saying years today in the Telegram, but he also said 6 months. So take 6 months, years, and pick a middle point.
I think between a year and a half. But then again, when he talks about it, he's like, we just need this and this and this, and we basically can copy half of it. Like, he's talking about it like it's nothing, but then also he understands that it's something.
So what is Ethereum hard forking? Because I tried to find a video, and the only one I found was from like 3 years ago. That was sort of
that's a tough one to figure out on your own.
Yeah, so I don't know. Can you guys give me the rundown? Like, what is it?
Yeah. Anyone have a really good explanation for it?
Sorry, I'll
understand it for myself.
What was the question?
Yeah, I was a bit distracted as well. So you want to know about the hard fork? Basically, because the Ethereum fees have been going up so high.
What it is. Just a basic understanding of what it actually is. What does it mean to hard fork Ethereum? That's what he asked.
Okay. So when you're doing normal software development, it's a normal thing to fork the code. So you basically start with one version of the code, and it's got a certain amount of features, and then at some point in time you might split that and literally create another version of it that's got different features. Okay. So that's very normal in software development. So the same thing happens in the blockchain. You're just basically taking computer code and creating a separate branch of it, and it heads down a different path. So that in essence, that's exactly what you're doing. Just happens to be that we play in the financial side of things with blockchain. So sometimes that creates free money, sometimes not.
So how does that negatively affect the gas fees on the network?
So a fork can be contentious, where people disagree, and then people have to choose which fork they're going to support, or it can be agreeable. So everyone says, okay, we want to implement these features. We're all going to switch to this new code at this point in time, which is usually a particular block height. So they'll say, okay, when the block height reaches such and such, everyone's going to be running this new version of the node software. So that's pretty much all it is. Everyone just they can agree to do it, and that's when things go smoothly, or you can have that contentious one, and that's where you end up with a Bitcoin and a Bitcoin Cash.
Right. Okay.
Yep. Did you?
So it looks like Hexmac has got you ready to share your screen to show us those end stakes, those people bleeding out, Hexmac?
Wait one second. Agno, do you understand everything now?
Yeah.
Do you have any?
Yeah, I think.
questions?
Yeah, I think so. I just don't understand like how still the gas prices. Did you guys say they were going to go up after April the 14th by 2 point whatever times? So I don't understand how you get from $30 to $120 in gas fees due to a like a scenario. Or due to a half.
What's been happening is because the Hex contract calculates, like when you end a stake, you have to you have to pay a lot of gas depending on how many days. But the more days, the more calculations. And so because it makes so many calculations, there's a thing called S-load. And that's they're increasing the price of that. So they've been doing that for a while now. Like, so when Hex first started, transactions were essentially, just a 1 cent, or just very, very, very low. Then they increased. Then they did a hard. They did a hard fork, which was just a part of their normal development, and that increased to what we're paying. And because of more network usage, that started that money increased, and also because the price of Ethereum increased, all of that sort of made the gas prices, especially for end staking and especially for Hexicans, go up quite a lot. And so, and now that they're proposing some more, they call them Ethereum improvement protocols. Is that it?
Proposals.
Proposals, right? And basically, they're hard forks. And so they have to get a whole lot of different people, and they have to get developers, they have to get miners, and they have to get the whole kind of community on board to do these things. And there's all sorts of discussions, and there's kind of politicking that we see, and there's politicking in the background that we don't see. And the end result of that is that they are going to increase this S-load again. And that's going to make especially our really long stakes incredibly expensive to end stake. And then I think that he was saying on the 555, so the Quattro Cinco stake, it might even be impossible. That's 15 years away, but because of the changes that they're making, they're going to make it actually impossible. And so that just made Richard Hart, the guy who invented Hex, it's kind of like it's put our backs up against the wall, and so he's going to come out and said, okay, I'm going to make my own fork of Ethereum, where we secure, and they're going to have a new coin. They're going to have, and this is all very early days. So this is just announced in the last kind of couple of days, although it's been something that people have been thinking about and talking about for a while. And so, so this is, and it's finally come out publicly and says, right, we're going to fork Ethereum, and we're going to set up a chain which has really low fees. And he's also been talking about doing other optimization things for that chain. And that's where the current state of it is, basically. Is that kind of clearer?
Yeah. Makes sense. No, I understand.
So to make it really easy, Ethereum just made it really expensive to end your stakes. It's not practical to be on the Ethereum blockchain anymore. So we're creating our own chain, and we're forking that. That's literally in English, right? There's a fork in the road where you just go two ways. Yeah. And so the Ethereum blockchain will just keep on going, and we're just forking off of that and create our own way. And so will be our own new chain, and that's our own rules. We have just the Hex chain will have its own rules, and the transaction fees will be way less, and will be
I think
a better environment for us.
Sorry, you go.
Well, the way the blockchains work, the reason that it's called a blockchain is because it's a massive database where everyone sees everyone's information, and these blocks of information are put onto that big database for everybody to see. And so once that block is on there, it's on there forever. And because the next block comes along, and the next block comes along, and so it's on forever. When something forks, some people follow this other chain, and the other people follow the other chain, right. And so you get two chains. And so sometimes sometimes it's contentious. Okay. Sometimes it's part of development, and like these improvement products, will just like everyone will agree, so everyone just follows the new chain. But when it's contentious, then some people follow one chain and other people follow the other chain. But basically, we will get copies of all of that's gone beforehand on that chain. So the history can't be changed.
Yeah, so we're not going to get shafted from all our stakes.
No, the history is, and not only that, we'll still be on both chains. So because we have the hex contract on the chain, and it's immutable, it can't be changed at all, it will end up on that other chain. And so we'll end up having double the hex. We'll have hex on the old Ethereum chain, or the current Ethereum chain, and we'll have hex on the new chain as well.
Right. Okay.
But it's also good to remember that this is all. Everything is still speculation because no one has any idea of how it actually is going to go down. But this is what we know from all the things that have happened. So it probably will be in a similar fashion, but we'll see.
So the blockchain, it can't be changed. That's the technology. It would not work otherwise. Yeah.
So how many times has Ethereum been forked in the last 5 years?
Well, it was really interesting because when I first came into the crypto space, soon after, there was a contract on Ethereum that was hacked. It was a very famous hack called the DAO hack, and what they decided to do was take that person who hacked that money and take it off them, or they freeze it out. And the way they did that was by forking, and that's what the current Ethereum is. But there were people who said, like, no, that's bullshit. It's a blockchain. It has to remain like it is, and that's how Ethereum Classic was created. And so now, like back then, you had an Ethereum Classic is actually the original Ethereum chain without that rollback of the hack.
Right. Okay.
It gets complicated, man. The more time that you spend in this space,
I can remember the first time I was discovering what forks were and what Bitcoin Cash was and all that bullshit. Yeah, and there's a lot to learn, man.
Yeah, I think anyone that was around in 2017, that was the year of forks. There was a lot of forks going on. Everyone was having a crack at it, but they were more of the contentious type. But it is just normal for that to happen day to day.
Well, it was funny. Basically. I mean, it was almost comical with Bitcoin because they had Bitcoin Cash fork because it was an argument over the block size and about scaling and the fees and all that kind of stuff. But then after that, then people started forking off Bitcoin Cash, and then there was other Bitcoin
Diamond,
and there was just a whole ton of them, and some of them are really dodgy in the way that you claim the money, and most of them all went to zero pretty much. Although with the Ethereum one, like the original chain became a lot less valuable because everybody agreed that they should give back the money in that hack. So it's the world of printing money, basically.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Agno, where are you from?
From Melbourne.
Oh, another Melbourneite.
Yeah, you're getting quite a crew of them down there, aren't you?
Who else is from Melbourne?
Yeah, I'm
Yourself,
from Melbourne. Max from Melbourne.
What is that thing of Australians asking others where they are from? Like,
sorry, Mark.
It's one of the first questions that Aussies ask each other when they meet each other.
Because what part of Australia are you from?
We like to talk about the weather as well. That's a pretty popular topic.
4 seasons in one day. Learn that saying, and you'll
be right.
About Melbourne.
Hey, you guys, have you noticed people on Twitter talking about their Staker app and how they hadn't received their smart wallet and saying I finally received my smart wallet? I don't know about you, but I got mine straight away.
No, I haven't got mine.
And people can pay for it.
I'm coming up to about 4 weeks now. 4 weeks and nothing.
Really?
Well,
like day one and got it straight away. The first week.
Yeah,
but
I think if you were,
it's
if
you
you got in
lucky.
early,
You got lucky, Sammy.
You can also just buy
and let's be honest, they didn't want you attacking him on Twitter.
See, the thing is,
you can also
pretty
pay for it
on Twitter. So.
Like you can make it instant if you pay for it.
Their wallets yet? Like what are they on, mate?
well, the thing was is that they bought a whole lot of, when the gas was low, they got themselves a whole lot of wallets because they thought we're going to be onboarding a lot of people. Let's buy it while the gas is low, and then they just didn't realize how many people wanted. Like the demand has just been insane, and so they got this to the point where it's like, well, they ran out of the wallets, so they got on the cheap gas price, and they couldn't just give them out because the new wallets were costing like a lot of money to get.
That's not a staker thing either. That's anyone that's doing the Gnosis safes. They've all got to pay it. I think who else was having the same issue?
How much is it? How much do they have to pay?
Well, it's about $50 or something.
Really? Oh, you were lucky there.
Between 30 and 60, I think. So there is a if you do want to get it faster, there's a wait list. If you go into the Telegram staker group, you can they'll and you want to pay for it, then you can just like get them to organise that.
So they've streamlined it now. You can fill out a Google form, just put in the transaction ID to prove that you've sent some ETH across, and literally it's done in 12 hours. You have your wallet.
Jack, did you get yours early, mate? When it first?
Yeah, I got mine straight away, but I've been onboarding a few people, and a couple of them I've paid for their family members. So I've paid for their wallets.
Oh, that's nice. A lot of referrals.
No, not a massive amount. I mean, I probably haven't pushed that as hard at the moment just because of the fees. Like most people want to come in they want to dip their toe in the water, and it's massive fees at the moment. So if you've got to pay $50 for a wallet, and then you've got to get your funds in there and do a trade on something like Uniswap, there's another $50 odd. So
I know.
Yeah.
I've got like three mystery referrals.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's awesome, Sammy. Yeah.
And one from my mum, who I onboarded her and gave her some Hex. But I've not used the staker app to stake Hex, and I don't really plan to.
Same here.
Yeah, but you've come in at a different stage, and you understand crypto. But I've got nieces and nephews that I'm going to chuck a little bit of Hex their way, and it's good for them. They've got it on their phones, and
it is.
So I think that will get better and better as it. Especially if we sort out the whole fee side of things, that's going to be a cracker, because that will be really seamless and easy where you just do it all in app, because that is you got the likes of like crypto.com and all that, where you just basically do everything from an app on their platform. So if you get to that stage, people will love that shit.
Yeah.
And are you guys going to I know Day 43 OG mentioned that he's going to get a specific phone that will be just for, crypto, I guess, that he can disconnect and connect from the internet, I guess, for security reasons.
I just don't do crypto on my phone. I never do crypto on my phone.
Right.
Me neither.
Same here, Jackson. It's a principle thing.
Did anyone see one token like going off its face? Like,
is it? I haven't been paying attention.
God damn it. Of course it is.
I know. I sold all my uni for Hex, and then like that went up, and I can't look at it anymore.
Yeah. Hey, there's no doubting. Like, we've just witnessed projects that probably don't deserve the sort of run up that they've had blow off, and a lot of those I sold to buy Hex with. So we've had to be very, very patient.
Yeah, but you've saved your Hex there. So you can't. You actually can't really judge that until.
I'm not. I'm not concerned about it, and I think we all see where this is going. So, they've got these pumps that are happening, but they're not going to be a sustained growth.
Do any of these coins give you a shit ton of interest?
That's right. They don't.
Think of the T-shares as well.
I kept some 1 inch just on the sidelines, which I'm glad I did. So hopefully it takes the run up like uni, and I might even buy some more Hex. if it does keep going up.
It's not quite back up to where it got up to at one point at $8 Australian.
Really?
It's on the move again for it looks like another quite a big leg up. So
for sure.
Congrats on that, Sammy. That's awesome.
Oh, thanks, God.
Yeah, that's nice.
You know what? My instinct said just hold a little bit of uni, keep it in uni, and then so I bought it back, and then I sold it again for Hex. Like,
yeah, so my FOMO said just sell it and get more Hex.
Yeah, it'll
Hex
end
is a
up in
good
Hex.
choice.
Yeah, that's it.
for sure. We'll be thankful anyway. Once it starts, like,
Oh yeah. At some point, it won't matter either, as well.
Yeah. You'll be happy you've got all that interest and you've been earning all that interest. And like
How'd you go bring up those ending stakes? Did we get around to that?
Hex Max. You
I can share my screen.
Yeah,
okay, cool.
I got them right here, Jax.
Oh, you got them? Cool.
Ready to go.
Have you got it from Backup Hex or?
I just saved it as an image.
Okay.
Just have a look at it.
if anyone, just while you're doing that, if anyone's not gone and checked out backuphex.com, that's a good site. There's a lot of good information on there. It's another way you can do your staking and things like that as well. But they've got some cool information, and that's where we pulled some of this info from.
Beautiful. Yeah, I haven't checked it out, actually. So do I need to do anything, Hexmax?
So I tried to share the screen earlier, and then we had a couple of people jump in, and now it's not letting me screen share. So, you know, when you go into your options and it says, hey, allow the microphone, allow access to this thing. It said to me, hey, do you want to, allow access to screen share? Now I can't get, unless someone knows how to get that option back up. Jax, where are you on that one?
There we go.
Guys, do you have any idea if the price goes like 10x, how many people will just be streaming the entire day, just talking nonsense?
Everyone have too much time on their hands.
There will be so many people that quit their job for at least a year. They just mess around online talking nonsense. I will be one of them.
I'd love to do that.
I'll still be doing my business, but like less, and just hang out more.
Remarkable. What do you do for business, Nate?
I was a videographer, so I started to travel the world and following public speakers around, making videos for them, getting their story out. Cool. But then COVID hit. Like everything was going perfectly. I was getting booked all over the place, like Egypt, Indonesia, Washington. I was flying all over the place, and then COVID hit, and I didn't have anything to do anymore. And so I played 2 weeks of Call of Duty, and then after that, I thought it was a good idea to start helping people how to make better videos, how to create setups like this, how to do your Zooms in a better way, your video calling and whatnot. I'm started to make a video every single day. So right now, in 3 weeks, I've finished an entire year of making a video every single day. That became a community of 500 people now. And awesome. That's on Facebook, where I still do every day a video, and I help people with their online appearance and creating connection online. But then at some point, I was just done with Facebook and just social media in general, kind of. So now I'm moving away from that, and I'm transferring my entire community over on my own platform on trickle-media.com, where you have a basically it's the same as Facebook. You have like a timeline. You can post videos on there. You can get feedback from me, everything that my group first had as well. But then there are also courses and a podcast and just my entire platform. And some people have seen that, and there are already people in line for me to build their platform as well.
Oh, that's
so
fantastic.
Right. Awesome. I'm not a videographer anymore, and Trickle Media is kind of becoming a software company. So that's nice because I can scale that. Mm-hmm. And I don't really care about anything anymore because I know Hex. Yeah, it's all fine. I just have a lot of fun. And,
are you a dev, or you've got other guys building your platform?
No, I'm a entrepreneur. Like I get people. Yeah. I would like I understand a little bit of dev, and I understand a little bit of web development, but it's not my thing. I'm more of a videographer, editing. I like editing, and I'm getting a little bit in motion graphics and 3D modeling and CG, but it's I'm really at the beginning of that. So once I actually have a lot of time when I have that FU money, then I'll start to dedicate a lot of time just understanding that, and then I can create anything I want. That's the idea.
Cool. Well, what else would you do? It's good to have a social connection, isn't it?
What?
It's good to have social connection, and especially with people that got a common interest as yourself. You know, we all love Hex, right? So we're always going to have something to talk about. So you're connecting with other people with the same interests, you know?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's
fun.
It's a cool thing. We can actually when I explain Hex to a lot of people, when I get to the topic of Richard Hart, of why I think that's the best guy to kind of follow in the crypto space, I always tell people like he created the whole story that he got retired really early and he's like rich. And then I tell people like he created a crypto coin that basically solves the economic part of people's lives, so people can stop chasing money and doing all their life, just spending all their life working on chasing money, doing dumb stuff, and actually start focusing on real important things in the world and make this world a better place. It's basically what he's doing.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. You're right there. He's a remarkable, wonderful person.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. Amazing.
We're going to party for like a year, but after that year, we're like, all right, so what can we do?
Yeah.
And then we actually start to do cool stuff, right?
That's definitely
the amount of money that Hexicans will have is just stupid, and at some point we're going to do really good things for this world, because I don't know any other people that would be responsible with money than Hexicans, like do good stuff for this world.
All right, can I just get a show of hands? Who's referred someone?
Oh yeah.
Who's had their referral refer someone?
How can you tell?
So someone.
I guess not.
And I don't mean it has to be in Staker app or something, but the example I've given is I've told someone about it, or they've got to speaking about it, and then the next thing you know, they're speaking to their neighbour, and then they're speaking to their bloody brother, and so that's that whole network thing. And the reason why I think it's going to be so successful is because that I see that happening just with my friends and family and circles. So if every other Hexican's doing that same thing, that's what makes these projects rocket, is that community, that big networking.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I onboarded a lot of people, but they don't understand it well enough to onboard other people. They will, and like it's pretty new as well. So once they really get to see the interest they get, they'll probably tell people about it, and then send them to me, because they can't really.
So that's why I think the staker thing's important, because at the moment I still get, okay, this guy wants to have a crack at it. Can I give you pass your details on to him and he can have a chat with you? If he can get past that, where it's just go to the app, follow your nose, that's pretty cool.
Easier. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be good if they made Staker app a one-stop shop? So all you could see.
I reckon it will be.
No, it will totally be, yeah.
You know, because it's so draining onboarding people. Like, I mean,
for sure.
People, but they don't really get it. They're like, oh, they get sidetracked, and show me later, and never get around to it. But yeah, hopefully it'll get easier. A one-stop shop.
Yeah, that's what I love about being able to explain it, like a term deposit like that. For me, is really successful, because you're not talking about crypto then. You're just talking about investing in like a term deposit where you're just getting interest when you're locking your money away. But the difference is when you go pull that money out, if the crypto goes up, you could have made 1,000x plus the interest as well.
Yeah, that's
Obviously,
where people get confused.
That's
once you say it's a crypto.
But you know what? I mean, obviously in crypto, we've all probably here seen, except probably you, Agno, we've gone through the bottoms and gone, shit, turned, 20 grand into like zero. But you haven't seen the other side of turning, 20 grand into 100 grand within like a month. You know what I mean? Like it can go either way, and that's the beauty. That's why I love crypto. You know, because it's just it's amazing. No other currency does this. No other market does this. Maybe the housing market if you're lucky, but
the dollar will do that, but then only the negative side.
So Cienza, I actually googled your name and a website came up that looks like you're building or something like that. What's your kind of background and what are your ambitions at the moment?
Yeah, I'm just playing around. So basically, what happened was I'm from the beginning, right before when the people don't understand the balls it took to get into Hex in the early days, right? But in the old days, it was like, you know, you just weren't sure, right? There was a lot of doubt, and you know, you're kind of trying to work out. I didn't understand T-shares. I didn't understand how long I'm staking for. I didn't understand anything, basically. You can imagine in the early days. So with all the hate that was happening at that time and you know, the hexologist handling it so well, I really got motivated with him being able to just be happy, nice, and, you know, just handling all that bad feedback that we were getting in the early days, and Richard as well, right? Like his patience is absolutely amazing. Like I'm watching some interviews, just, you know, calling him scammer and all sorts of things, and the guy just keeps his cool. I'd be like going off my head, and he just remains calm.
Yeah, I know, he's amazing. He's so cool. But yeah, some of those guys.
And then I thought,
people.
Yeah, and then I thought I might create. So I really had a video saying I've got Hex is a scam, and I said that, you know, Rich Jones coming over me and he was going to break my internet connection because I was going to tell the truth about the project. RG3 hypnotizes people. That's why he wears glasses. I just did this whole stupid thing so people would go to it. And then all I was doing in that video was showing them how Hex works.
Yeah. Funny.
Nice one. So we check out some Rex plebs then? Who are the people bleeding out? Who's got that ready to go?
I don't know if I'd call some of these guys plebs, but yeah.
I know, crypto, like, I mean, they're just letting their money just bleed out. What do you call someone like that?
Have you got the screen share on? Can people see that? Or?
I have no. Oh, do I have to?
Yeah, you've got to allow it. So it's sitting there, but you've got to, I think, put it on stream. You're getting trial by fire tonight, aren't you? Getting all the hard things pop up.
I know how to share my. See, I can share my screen, but I don't see how I can share. Does it come?
I've never been on the host side, so I don't know.
I mean, if I jump out for a second and I jump back in, I can have it done like that. You want me to jump out?
I've shared the screen, but I think the host actually has to allow my screen share.
Is it under captions or graphics, or does anyone know Restream?
There should be like a little...
Marketable thoughts. You should know all this stuff. What do they have to do to screen share, mate?
Who's trying to screen share?
So I've done a screen share. It's sitting in the back room where Blue Bum should be able to put it up on.
No, I can't really see how I do it.
I think it should be on the right side, and then you can probably click on a window that pops up. You should be able to give permission for the share screen thing.
What's bleeding out?
So bleeding out is when you... Yeah, so if you've got a stake that you've staked but you haven't end staked it, so after 14 days, we've got a grace period where you won't get any penalties, but after that 14th day ticks over, then you lose 1% per week of your stake value. So it just bleeds out over time. And if you don't know this bit, this is really good because the actual good thing is it goes to the rest of the stakers.
Right, so yeah, okay.
We can't really see it, can we? How do I...
I'll zoom in a bit on that if I can.
I can see it.
Yeah, so that's up. So what we're looking at here, so this top one is 26 days past its due date. It's for almost 50 mil hex. So it's already bled out a mil, almost 2%. So so I've sorted these by stake size. So you can see there's quite a few of these in the tens of millions or the 10 million range that are bleeding out, and some of them have bled out a lot, 16%.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah,
just wasting away.
It's just going to sit there, and I don't know whether they're free claims people have forgotten, or I mean these ones here, they're all very similar values, so I don't know whether that is like a max free claim or something like that. 10. I can't remember what the silly whale thing was now, what that sort of capped at, but they. I mean, look at these, all same day.
Yeah, I was just about to say
same amount, and you get a lot of that where they're.
See, Agno, half of that money is going to all of us stakers.
Oh, it goes back into circulation, doesn't it?
Yeah,
half of it goes to the origin address, and half of it goes to all the other stakers, depending on how many shares.
Doesn't go into circulation. It's only calculated when you end your stake that it'll go through and see what penalties you accrued,
right,
as well. The good thing is, if you really wanted to, you could stop this bleeding out for them by hitting the good accounting. But
yeah, don't do it.
Please.
I don't think anyone's feeling that generous, and it's probably going to cost you $200 to do it.
What does that do?
You can. I also made a button on my website that says mark accounting. And you can also just pay me $200. If you feel like just giving away money, that's it.
Well, if we go to jail,
you don't have to pay the Ethereum fee. You can just pay me. What?
If we go to jail, we know who to call, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so this is backuphex.com. So yeah, good site to go through because it presents this nice and easy for everyone to come and check it out. So if you're not using that site, and you can emulate anyone's address. So if you click on emulate, you can put in whatever address you like here and see all their stakes and things like that.
Okay,
so pretty cool.
So Agno, there's two things you can do when a stake is about when it's matured. You can either end stake, which means you print your new hex, or you can do a thing called good accounting. And what that does is that it just kind of puts it in this limbo kind of state, whereby you haven't minted your hex, but it's not going to bleed out. And so people do that if, for instance, like somebody is in jail and they can't get to the hex, and somebody else can do the good accounting for them.
Someone's in jail.
That's a great example.
It's a good example, though. It's a possibility.
Yeah, it's a good one. Good example.
And
the other use for it, Agno, is for tax purposes. So, you can good account a stake and it doesn't mint the coins, which means that they're not showing up on your capital gains.
Yeah, so depending on where you live, the stake that ended on the 15th of March, which was for 24 mil. So approximately half of that was interest. So as soon as they've minted that, they've triggered a taxable event in most jurisdictions. So they could have just put it into good accounting and let it sit there. But they're obviously not too concerned about that.
It's been interesting because there have been there was a really big stake which was good accounted, and it didn't make any kind of sense as to, unless it's in some sort of jurisdiction where the tax, like, remember that just like within the last month.
Yeah,
there was that
one.
But it was like,
but I think they might have. I don't reckon they've done that correctly, because they done good accounting, and then pretty much straight away they ran end state.
They ended it. Oh, okay. Yeah. So they were just testing it out or something. Yeah.
Well, I don't know whether they were testing it out or whether they just didn't understand.
Probably didn't understand.
That sort of money, you'd understand.
You said earlier, we don't underestimate people's stupidity. That could be a good example of that.
Really?
Cool. I'll in that screen share.
What's for dinner tonight, Hex Mac? You're not having a roast, mate?
No, not tonight. I just got to do something on the fly tonight. It's actually junk day today, so I get to have whatever.
Uber Eats.
Yeah, probably something horrible and crappy, honestly. At this time of the night, yeah.
What time is it over there?
Basically, you got pizza, and that's about it.
And maybe Macca's, and that's probably a kebab. Maybe there might be a kebab in there, or
Stop when you make me hungry now.
Hey, Hexmac.
What time is it over there?
10 to 11 p.m.
It is 10 to 11, bro. 11 p.m.
How's your nasty neighbours been, Hexmac? Better?
Fucking.
You can buy better neighbors when the next
Dude, I'm gonna buy a whole fucking apartment complex at that stage. I haven't heard from him. I haven't seen him since the incident. But yeah.
Mac, no news is good news, mate.
That's exactly right.
You know, bloody Melbourners, they're crazy people.
Yeah, he can live under the weight of, what happened.
You're stomping.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, everyone, whoever's in Melbourne right now, come over to mine. We're going to have a fucking rave. We're going to go to 4 a.m. and we're just going to do some stomping out here.
This motherfucker.
So you got yourself a pair of clogs?
Markable.
You wear clogs over there, mate.
What?
You wear clogs.
What are clogs?
Don't do it.
Klompen. Wait, those wooden shoes, right?
Yeah, the wooden shoes. What do you call them?
Klompen. We call them klompen.
How do you spell that?
I don't wear them, but some people do, like farmers and shit.
Yeah, I think there's isn't there some tradition where I think chefs wear them or something a lot?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, I think chefs wear them in kitchens.
There are some places in the Netherlands where that is actually the preferred footwear. Like
I think in Australia, the chefs wear a lot of times. Chefs wear clogs.
They do.
Really?
Yeah. But Mark, who wears wooden shoes? I mean, comfort.
Some of the people like them. I don't know. I don't like them, but
my mum had a pair because I told you my mum's Dutch, and we just had a pair in the family, and they were you'd never wear them. They were just it's very
no. A lot of people just actually wear them every single day. They just like them. I don't know why.
Yeah,
but like if you get into them since you're a child, then I guess you're used to it or something.
Yeah, maybe.
I don't get it, but yeah.
Now I remember going around and traveling around Europe and seeing these guys. I think they were from Switzerland, and they were doing an apprentice. It was part of their apprenticeship, but they had to wear like lederhosen and travel all over the place. And like there was part of their apprenticeship where they would actually have to go out and travel, but they would do it in the lederhosen, and I think they were woodworkers or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Is that still going?
What?
They might have just been bloody Aussie backpackers.
No, that was definitely not Aussie.
No, like lederhosen are not something from the Netherlands. It's more
Germany.
Switzerland. No, from Switzerland.
It's more, Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. Mostly German and Austrian, I think.
Yeah.
But I never wore them because I think they look weird. But some of those people actually like the way they look. And all right. So also again something that just you get used to it or something, or you grow up with it, and then you have emotional attachment to it, and then you think you like them.
Yeah.
I heard the shoes are really comfortable. That's what I've heard anyway. But I think you've got to sand them the right way.
Yeah, maybe if they have the perfect fit for your feet, maybe could be.
The Japanese wear these kind of wooden sandals, which are kind of these flat boards.
Yeah, which are just wooden
kind of weird
plates.
thing, and so apparently it's very good for your posture.
Yeah, I would just walk bare feet then. I think that has a little bit more benefits to it.
Which you seem like a prison sentence. Do you know how to put do you know how to put things up on the comments up on the screen as well, Blue Bum? You figured that out?
You just click on
it. You want me to do this one, do
you? Cool.
Nardo, g'day Nardo. Actually, I want to say g'day to everyone in the chat because we love that. We love the chat. It's always been a big part of it. I've been trying to follow the comments, but I'm like really distracted by everything. Nardo. Hello, Cryptomatic. DJ Cryptomatic. Don't think we've seen you here before. Lovely.
So what's everyone's thoughts on the chat feature now? Is that going to be a distraction or is that help?
Pull up your phone and see if it's still going, Jax.
It has been non-stop. I'm wondering whether people are going to miss a lot of information.
Hey, Flame.
You can't scroll back.
Did you see the Wretched Heart's tweet today that they've got the Hex on the Clubhouse now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, have they?
And Sammy, you're in the Telegram chat right now.
Yeah, you are in. Yeah. I'm in right now as well. But like since Richard opened that voice thing on in Telegram, it hasn't been closed. And also I'm watching Telegram way closer because the moment I see his face on there, I'm listening.
That's why I jumped in at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m. my time. It's like Richard's
you don't get a notification and you also don't get a heads up. So you actually have to see it and just be lucky that he jumps in.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it's like you being on the phone with him. Like you can actually, instead of you being the chat, you can actually talk to him. And that's pretty cool.
That's cool.
I was saying that to my like best mate that I've onboarded. I was like, man, like how many opportunities do you get the chance to talk to like a multi-billion-dollar crypto founder, a regular person?
How cool is that? Yeah.
And Richard's got the personality. He doesn't ever think he's better than anyone else. He'll answer your questions. He's comfortable. He's just totally chill, you know?
Yeah. I think it's going to be big for, if it can be a bit more coordinated and a bit more organized. I mean, Richard could just say, look, every Wednesday, we're going to have a 2-hour thing where everyone comes in and I let you know about what's going on and what you guys need to do and where you need to go and what you need to, and that was basically, some of the gist of what he was getting at last night was like,
yeah,
you can call these, money license guys over in the US. You can try and get them to start accepting Hex and taking on Hex and doing things like that. And that's huge. Some guidance in this space would be, and from Richard, his guidance, he just points us at what he needs done and it'll get done.
Flames says right now, Kareem was talking nonstop for like 6 hours.
Well, on the Telegram voice chat.
Yeah. I saw him at some point and I thought, all right, it's over for anyone else. He's
He loves it, doesn't he?
Yeah, of course.
You can't stop him. Whale only likes to talk too, but
I think pretty much that's the commonality among all Hexicans.
I know, but at least take a breath. Kevin doesn't take a breath.
But Hex Mike, I'm not sure if like Richard, I don't think he will want to be tied to any agenda with us. Like he wants to go live whenever he goes live. And he's busy, and whenever he just has a minute, he just goes into the Telegram and says hi. And then people ask him questions. I think that's better.
Yeah, totally.
Let him do his thing, but no, exactly.
Time,
Yeah, and you feel really lucky. You feel really lucky if you manage to catch him, in there or whatever.
Like he will do the things anyway. So like right now we know what to do. So it wouldn't make sense for him to coordinate that stuff. He just tells you the strategic things, and then it's up to us to have the tactical things and the operational stuff.
It was funny that conversation he had with Chris Black. I think everyone still thinks Richard's doing everything. He's responsible for all the liquidity. He's bringing everything together.
Yeah, he doesn't do anything. Yeah, like he does
just doing shit. And I think people, they're not used to that, so they struggle to think that that's an actual reality. They think there's master puppet on the whole scene.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't even think he's necessarily the OA. Like I'm sure he has a big stake in it or something. I don't know, but I think he talks about it like it's another person, and sometimes he's surprised, and sometimes he's not sure what they're doing, and it would not surprise me at all if he set up some sort of legal entity as well, because
you would have to.
Yeah, exactly.
You would not do that in an individual name for beginning. No. So it would be some sort of trust or company or something.
When he says OA, it could also just be that it's not a person, it's a legal entity. Yeah. It's probably a legal entity now I'm thinking about it, because then he can still control it, but then also he can say, that's not me, that's the legal entity.
But I've also seen him act surprised. I've seen him act surprised at what the OA has done. Not surprised, but quizzical around, they did this. And so...
Do you remember stream, he said he can't really talk about it too much for legal reasons, because if he talks too much about it, they can call him a security.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remember that stream?
You think of the complexity, how many stakes got put in just before big payday and things like that. That's
the massive amount of work, hey?
Yeah. Even if you'd be doing all that with command line scripting everything, but even still, that is a buttload of work to do. So there's got to be multiple people, I think, involved doing that sort of stuff.
And they'd want to set up some sort of structures whereby, if somebody dies, it gets taken over by somebody else, and somebody who knows what they're doing. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting point, Blue, because he always does say, if I die or if I go to jail or if something, Hex lives on.
Yeah, of course.
And that could be a little breadcrumb as to okay.
It's not a breadcrumb, it's telling us
it's a Richard breadcrumb, which is an obvious one, but it's unless you're a Hexican, unless you're really clued in.
It's just literally code, man.
Yeah. Do you know what I really like is the handcuffs have been taken off a little bit now. So Hex, you had to be very careful of from the security point of view. Couldn't talk about future price or features or anything like that, and that will remain as is. But now he's got freedom where he can talk about, I'm working on another project, and that's going to be all decentralized and everything as well. So it's not going to be a security, but now he can talk about things that are going to happen in the future or things that are going to get built, and it's totally separate thing.
Yeah.
So that's actually a good thing, because now it levels the playing field where you've got all these other guys out there telling everyone what their promises are. At least now he's got the freedom to be able to start talking about this sort of stuff and generate that hype and get that interest, which you probably had to be extremely cautious with Hex.
You know what else I was thinking about? Because Hex is complete. It's finished. It's on the chain. It's immutable. You can't change it. No admin keys. It's done, right? But this new chain is going to have validators, and that means that, it doesn't necessarily mean, I don't know how he's going to approach it, but I don't think it will be a set in stone thing. I think it will have, maybe it's also how much of it is set in stone or something like that. But if it's got a whole lot of other people who are validating, then he will just have to set up the incentives so that they maintain it. But that means that things potentially could be changed on that thing. You know what I mean? So it's going to be a very different. So it's going to be a different. My point is just that he's not building something that is going to be set in stone like Hex was necessarily.
Yep. So he's just building a decentralized chain that will launch the same way as possibly EOS and things like that did, where you get it, the community has to all have consensus and come together and say, well, I'm going to run a node and I'm going to run a node, and it launches from that decentralized sort of fashion, which the EOS guys were very careful to do that. They stepped away and said, you need to go to bed.
Almost. I don't want to give everyone the yawns as well. Once you start infecting a stream with yawns, it's like
I don't know. Do they catch over video? I don't know if that works. Does it?
Yeah, it does.
It does.
Yeah. So that Block One were very careful, saying that we've got nothing to do with the way EOS launches, and that's the way the community will have to launch this network as well. But here you go, guys. This is everything you need to run a node if you want. Knock yourself out. Bring up the network. So yeah, and that means that we're totally freed up to talk about all these future things, and Hex is still doing its thing in the background and just gets ported across as though it's in its current state, but just on a new chain now. So I think it's pretty cool. Looking forward to it.
Oh yeah,
it's a super exciting time. I mean, the release of that news from Richard and him saying that he's going to fork E, the possibilities for what can happen in the future now are almost hard to comprehend, because you can just plug and drop, new things that he's being or wants to build into this new chain or this new fork. And I don't think we've seen the extent of how far that can go. HexBay is a little bit of a teaser with some of that stuff, but it'll be interesting to see after the bond market.
I hope those guys are working with Richard as this moves forward, because I think they had good intention.
Yeah.
Oh, no doubt, and they're still in the dev chat, and they're kind of helping out by, like, the new gas fees are already on the test net, and so they're testing out stakes to see how much the actual price difference would be. So it's not so clear, kind of thing. So they're definitely there and helping out, and got really good intentions, I think.
1 cent Hex is ridiculous. That's all I have to say.
I haven't even looked where we're at. Oh, okay. So I think our little friend's been having a little bit of a sell-off again.
Why don't you check to see? Can you check to see if he's got anything left, Jaxa?
Yeah, give me a sec. I've just got to dig out.
And if it is just him, like, this is the dip. If you want to buy dip, that's the dip.
What do we got?
Do you think it could be the God whale dumping off a bit of taking some profit?
Not sure. So that, so the last, we've sold a total of 5, 10, 15, 20, 20. So we've sold off 25 mil, and there was only 30 odd to begin with, I think. So he's down to 16 mil left. Just received a little bit more from the contract, which is $500,000.
Someone nuked themselves as well about 37 minutes ago.
Yeah. So, there must be something else that's sort of just sold recently.
Hey guys, we have a question in the chat from Flames. What does running a node mean?
Yeah.
So in the blockchain world, we need people that process all the transactions and hold the copy of the database, the ledger. So if and different systems work in different ways. So Bitcoin has miners, and it also has nodes that, I think the nodes just hold a copy of the database, but the miners obviously process all the transactions. So they can be sort of different. But every blockchain that exists has to have a group of machines processing the transactions, and that's all a node is, just a computer that does a single task, really, just runs the code to support the blockchain. Yeah. Pretty fair assumption or explanation?
Yeah, I think that was
without getting into the weeds too much. Now I think we'll go a little bit deeper. So I think EOS may have something like 10,000 nodes. So it's very distributed. Something like Binance Chain has, I think it's 18 or 20 or something along those lines. EOS only ever had 21 live validators, and then it had standbys. So depends on how decentralized you want your network to be as to how many nodes secure or run the process the transactions.
See you, Nato. Nato's off for a coffee. I think it's morning time in America. Had to get his really bad American coffee. Hope you get a good coffee,
that coffee
mate.
is shit.
Get a proper coffee, mate.
Come to Melbourne, get a good coffee. You'll be right.
All right, guys, I'm going to jump out.
Time for bed.
Night, Mac. Have a good rest.
Am I going to win the amount of stream time from Mac?
You are.
So what did you do? How many hours have you done today, Hexmac?
10 hours and 10 minutes.
10 hours. Yeah.
Oh
And what are you sitting at, Markable?
Same.
My record though is like 12 hours, and that was after the one chip challenge with Motley and Cookie and
after the chip.
Yeah, man, we just sat there until like fucking 1 a.m. making new MetaMask wallets, hoping that they'll do an airdrop.
Idiots.
Motley's got like 20 fucking wallets. If they do a drop,
MetaMask,
he's gonna be very happy.
So they all got different seed phrases. 21.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
You can go into Google Chrome and you can like create a new profile, and that basically is like it's a little mini seed that you create a new account, new profile, and you just keep doing that over and over again. You send, I think what they were doing is sending 1 ETH from one wallet to the next 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 wallet. So you pay a chunk in fees, but this was just after like the 1 inch airdrop. So I think they actually used their profits, or a small percentage of their profits from.
Were they doing airdrop? Were they doing swaps?
Yes. Yeah. And so I think Maddie, Cookie, and me and Motley were just doing that. I didn't do too many.
Yeah, I've got a few. I've done a few swaps on a few different wallets just in case, but I don't know that they're going to do it, to be honest.
I think they're being pretty sneaky about it, and they're doing
possibly.
We're not going to do it, and then they're just going to drop it, and it's like, god damn.
Yeah.
That's the way that they always work.
I did a swap. I'm happy. I'm done.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Get one in, and hopefully do it at a time where the gas fees aren't just astronomical. But that's what they always do. They like some of these, they've released little things where it's like, oh, if you follow this, or you put a limit order on our exchange and you do it in this little time period, you'll get it. They can't give that away because then people start to game the thing.
Yeah.
And, that's what the boys were doing. It's too much. All right, guys.
All right,
have a lovely night.
See you, Mac.
I'll be watching
Nice meeting you, dude.
I'll see you soon. I love you all. I'll catch you later.
And
Bye, guys.
See you Monday, man.
Catch ya. Yeah. I'll see you then.
So we've also got another couple of people wanting to about to leave. Did you saying you wanted to leave Cienza and Jester, or?
Yeah, I'll get going. I know I've got a bit of a thing going on in the background with the family, so I'll take off in a sec.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been good to see some new faces on here.
Good to see you, Dex.
Yeah,
I like this. My face is
he's turned into Hexman.
All right. Thanks for coming on. Did you say in the chat you were going to go Cienza, or?
Yeah, I'll head off as well. Yeah, thanks so much for having me. It was awesome, especially to meet you guys.
Nice meeting you, man.
Lovely to meet you, man.
You going to drop in from time to time, mate?
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks.
Fantastic.
Yeah. All right. See you guys.
See you, mate.
See you, dude.
See everybody.
Yeah.
Ciao.
So what made you want to jump on here tonight, Agno?
Me? Oh, I was I don't know, sort of just invited by Blue. Met him last night, but yeah, I think it's more just to sort of familiarize myself with what's going on because Not that I don't have time, but I'm always like looking at different stuff. So I don't sit there and watch all the Richard streams, and I'm not like, you know, signed up or subscribed to any you know, Hex folk on YouTube. So yeah, maybe this is like a good segue into that scene. But no, it's good. It's good.
Yeah,
so like there's no like outwardly explanation. It's pretty stock standard, but it's just wanting to expand the horizons a bit, man. I think so.
Yeah, I think Hexes maybe do a lot of things that I probably wouldn't have got off my ass and done. Like I never had Twitter accounts or anything like that. So it's probably made me do a few more things like that in the live streaming stuff, which is, I think it's good. Extra skills that we've all learnt along the way as well. So plenty of positives out of all of that.
I've been saying this a lot, like the whole community of Hex. Just it's one of the strongest communities I've seen anywhere, not just crypto space.
Everyone upskills as a group, and what I noticed, so even the thing like the quick swap, everyone just jumped on that, and by virtue of doing that, you understood the whole layer 2 scene a whole lot better.
What was that?
Super quick, eh?
Yeah, so you know how we've got Uniswap where you buy your Hex?
Yeah.
Yep. So there's a one on layer 2 called QuickSwap, and I'm not sure if you cross the whole layer 1, layer 2 side of thing. Yeah. Okay. So that's a whole nother world for you to explore.
Okay. Cool.
But yes, so essentially, and that's pretty important because that seems to be where this space is really heading now. Where whenever we wanted to buy and sell cryptos previously, we would send things to an exchange. And the analogy I use now is all these extra layer 2 networks are popping up, and you've got to move your funds from the Ethereum network to these other networks so you can participate in them. So it's more like you're moving funds between exchanges. There's that sort of scenario where you're still all doing it from your, in a decentralized way from your hardware wallet, if you've got one, or MetaMask, but you're getting the freedom of being able to jump across to different chains because they provide a particular service for you, or they provide a faster service or a cheaper service. And if we had have tried to fork the Ethereum chain a year or two ago, I think it would have been a really hard battle to get people to come across and use it. So outside of Hexicans, it would have been really hard. But I think the whole layer 2 environment has made it more accessible and more acceptable for people to now start moving things between chains and layers. So I think that's going to get, at the moment, the tools are a little bit rough and it's not so seamless, but once all the bridges between all these different networks are created, getting people to come across and use this new Hex chain is just going to be normal. It's not like people are going to have to, it's not like a whole Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin scenario where you had to choose. Now everyone's going to be comfortable moving between all of these. So I think now's the right time to be doing this sort of stuff. The fact that we're doing it on layer 1 is a little bit different, but we're going to have those interconnects between all the different layer 1s.
Essentially, every blockchain gets to the point where they have scalability issues, where it becomes like expensive to do transactions, and every single blockchain has come to that point. And so they're all coming up with different solutions. And because there's so much economic activity and everyone's just like in crypto, they're coming up with all sorts of new ones through Ethereum. And so it's just going to continue. Like there's all sorts of technologies of like things to batch kind of transactions on chain. And then layer 2 just means like other chains that verify to the main chain, or some are just not even, they just kind of like, they just have 80 valid, like the one we're using has just got 80 validated and is just a proof of stake chain. And that's probably what in part what inspired Richard to go, right, well, let's just make our own chain because that's safe and people are using it and it's quick and it's a way to scale.
If you go to the Ethereum org, I think it's ETH Foundation or EthereumFoundation.org, they've got a really good article on scaling. And they talk about the layer 1 scaling with Ethereum 2.0, and they talk about the different types of scaling with all the plasma and what's the other one? ZK Snarks.
ZK roll up.
ZK roll. Yeah. So that if you're new to all of that, go check it out if you want. If you've got that sort of interest. But that's where the space is heading, and that's where all the opportunity is going to be, I think. All right, gang. I'm going to roll.
Okay. Cool, man.
Been good to chat with everyone again, and I'll try and get on the Saturday streams a bit more often.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Good night. See if you can break the 12-hour barrier. Markable. You're going to have to find them.
No, I'm going as well. I need to do some work.
Nice meeting you,
I've been
boys.
putting off work for too long right now, so I'm also leaving.
Cool.
Have some breakfast, mate.
Thanks for having me.
Cheers.
Yeah, thanks for Markable. Thanks for coming on, Donkey Bars. And we'll see you on some more soon, hey? And thanks a lot, Jexa. Always a pleasure. And we'll see you on Tuesday, hey?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'll be there. Yeah. Cool. All right, bye, guys.
All right, guys. Nice meeting you both. All the best. Ciao.
Are you off to Agno?
No. I'll stay. I'll stay. I'll ride the wave.
Sweet. Right. Yeah.
So how do you guys know each other?
We're middle class.
Through middle class.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So that must have been a while ago, guys.
No, yesterday.
Last night. Literally to date.
Oh, through middle class working man, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not middle class. What is that? What did you think we meant? That
school or something?
Oh. School? Nah. I'm a bit older than him, Danny, but thanks a lot. I'm about double his age.
So how do you know middle class, Agno?
Me? I work with him, which is good.
Oh, do you? Cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he onboarded me onto Hex, and then I told my mum, and then my mum told my sister, onboarded her, and then I onboarded my girlfriend and her mum. So we're slowly like expanding the family tree of Hex, which I think is cool.
Right.
Like, you know, because someone once said to me, you know, you set the foundation with yourself, you set your house in order, then you can work on your neighbors and then set your street in order. You know what I mean? And then by extension, it expands out and out and out and out. So I think what's cool is, like, you know, I will sort of like the first, so to speak, from within like our group or in our family or social circle. And then, like, you know, you expand it out and then they solidify themselves and then they expand out and solidify themselves and then so on and so on. And then we sort of all, like, you know, sort of step each other up in an upwards direction and walk towards salvation, whatever that may be for an individual. You know what I mean? Some people money, Are
they all stakers, Agno, or are they just liquid holders?
No, they're stakers. So we all, because I learnt about it through staking. So middle class taught me about the whole staking principle, and then I staked everything. So my earliest stake is 8 years from now. So I've got 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and then 5, 5, 5, 5. But I'm going to buy in again, and I'm probably going to split up. I don't know how much I want to get, to be honest. I really don't know yet. But I want to go, like, I want to put 60% at 1 year and then break the other 40% up between years 1 and 8 as well. And if I don't like it, then I can just restake it. If I don't like the price, I can just restake it.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
You know what I mean? So I'm still trying to...
With this new before the ETH fork comes out, because these gas prices probably in April are going to be going up even more for end staking, it's probably a smart idea that if you are going to make stakes, make them longer than 2 years, even longer than 2 or 3 years from now. But and if you do decide to put them in the next 2 year period, make sure they're big ones, because like it is possible that it might go up to like $200 or $300 end of stake. So if that's the case, you know, you want to have a few thousand, at least in there. I reckon.
Well, like a few thousand hex to pull out.
No, a few $1,000s, because like, especially also if Ethereum goes up in price, that means that the gas prices go up as well. So they have in April they've got this new thing coming where it's going to cost Hexicans 2 or 3 times extra to end a stake, plus if Ethereum goes up. So for the next 2 years, if you want to have a stake within the next 2 years, it's probably safest to make it a large amount of money.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, like, like a few thousand at a minimum.
Like if you, exactly. Like if you do a $500 stake and then all of a sudden it costs you $300 or $400 to end stake it, it's not really worth it. You know.
I understand. So,
okay. Yeah.
So, Agno, when we got in, we probably didn't know what we were doing. Like, I mean, I admit I didn't know what I was doing. I staked for like, I think 3 years and 4 years. And then when like a bit later on, when Hex price went up, I ended up staking out like every year, like one annual stake every year.
Yep.
Which I'm sort of thankful for now because of these gas fees going up. I'm thinking, well, what's the point in having the little stakes, or quarterly stakes, because it's going to cost me gas fees,
The other thing that might happen though, which could also is that if you do stake $1,000 for a year, you have no idea how much that will be worth in a year. So if it goes up a hell of a lot, then the Hexicans won't really. It's not that big of a problem. Like if Hex moons even more, if Hex moons, then it's not a problem, because we'll have to pay a lot for our gas, but we're minting like such a massive increase in our money that we can easily eat that cost.
Yeah, of course, it'd be negligible at best. Okay,
but it hasn't mooned yet, and so.
But isn't it up like 300 times? Because since I got in, I think it's only doubled. I think because I got in late November. I think I don't know when you guys got in. Probably back when it was point 0.001 cent.
Late November. I mean, it was down to like it was probably. Did you get in at like a third of a cent or something?
I think so. I can't quite remember.
So it's 4x. So it's like 4x since then. It's like 3x.
Yeah, I think so, because the way I look at it is when I look at the staker app and I see the amount of money, it's I think it might be like 2-3x. I really don't know, because I think what skewed me as well was the fact that Big Payday came along, right? The whole entire bag got doubled, but the price was cut in half. So it was, you know what I mean? So because after that massive dip when after Big Payday, so that people didn't just run away with the money. So that sort of
the people who staked just in the few months after Big Payday didn't really make, because the price went. Well, it depends when you got in, really. But like, it was. What's that noise? I don't know. Yeah, because it was only like like if you just did it like for a week or something like that, then you got your extra 30%, but the price was down, and so it ended up being pretty much equal. Like, so you didn't really
make or gain,
if you just did it that short kind of thing, But the best thing to do is like especially for the next couple of years, I would say, is just have very few stakes. Like, really concentrate your money. And if you're going to have a stake in the next year or two, like, okay, put one stake a year or one stake every 6 months, depending on how much money you have, you know what I mean? And how much. But Hex is always going to be longer pays better. And you're always going to make more money on the longer stakes.
Yeah. So because me, like, I'm in my mid-20s, right? So even if I do like 10 and a half, 11 and a half, 12 and a half, that's, I'll be in my mid-30s. It's fucking, it's like whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think the time constraint for me isn't all that much, because I've got it on my side.
Because you're young,
Yeah, totally. Yeah, you'll be ending them before you realize it. Like you forget about them, you live your life, and all of a sudden you got that thing coming up, and actually you probably will realize it because like over this time it's going to go up so much money.
Yeah,
so you're just going to have it sitting. You're going to have it sitting there.
Yeah, it's like, what is this? It's like I only put in this amount. Oh my god! Yeah, no, we'll see. But I think all in all, for me, like I've always been under the impression that that money comes and money goes, and it's about sort of setting yourself up with a financial system, that can work over the long term and pay your passive income, and just within the time constraints of your own life, because it's not like it's locked in for 5 years. You don't have to choose 5 years. You can choose one day. You can choose 5,555 days.
Yeah,
and I think that's what's cool about it as well. But I think the one thing that I wanted to say was like I sort of know the answer, but I'll ask anyway because I'm this is noob me talking. But like, what's the difference between staking? What's the difference between like staking Hex and then staking a coin like USDC at like 12% APY?
Lots. So if you want to get a stable coin, and you can't really stake that. What you can do is you can lend it out to somebody, and you get that interest.
Yeah. Sorry, like that. Yes, sorry, like earn or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, first of all, it's not as much money, and it has more risk because USDC is probably okay. That's probably one of the better ones. But the risk with them is not they're losing in value. The risk with them is that the whole thing collapses and they go to zero.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's 100 or 0 for stable coin. That's the risk. Like they should be fine, but if the tech behind it, if the people who are backing it up, I mean, it's such a big thing, so you can't imagine they just do runners or whatever like that. But like, if there was some, like, if that's the count, you have a counterparty. You know what I mean? So if that counterparty, runs out of money, then they can't pay you, and you've just got this worthless token. Whereas with Hex, your counterparty is the contract.
Right.
Because it's an immutable contract, you know that you're going to get that Hex at the end of that time. And the value of Hex could go to 0 if nobody wants it. I would guess that, judging by what it is doing now, is that if anything, it's going to be more valuable in the future, and so it'll be worth more. So,
do you reckon we'll be seeing like 10 cents in the next 5 years?
Easy. I mean, look, I can't say. You never know. You never know what the future is going to hold. But I think it's going to be way more than that. Because look at you. Look at, like, middle class told you onboarded your friends and family, and that's happening with each of us. Now, as soon as we have a next leg up, then all those second tier people, they're going to be telling their friends and family, and then it goes up even more, and it's going to be it's network effect.
And
go on.
No, yeah, and I was going to say that I think especially like with the normies, or people that aren't sort of aware of the platforms and what's going on, if they can see the money that they put towards something is realized, right? Or, oh, look at me, I put 100. Let's say like I put $100 into it, and after 2 years now it's at 200, right? And they can go to their friend and they'll be like, oh, there's this thing called Hex that you put it away like a term deposit, and look how much I've made. I've doubled in 2 years, and then they can show them, because some people literally need to see you with something, therefore it is sound. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
So yeah, I feel like, especially for some of the early stakers, to be able to then go to their friends and family and say, hey, this is what happened in 2 years, that'll really incentivize them to be like, you know what, looks good, because I can see it. It's not just, oh, there's this thing called Hex, So I don't know.
That's where stake wrap comes in, because that's going to make it. they're working on layer 2 solutions at the moment, and soon everything is going to be under the hood, and it's just going to be that app, and you're going to be able to buy directly from Fiat to Hex. You're going to be able to stake it, and you're going to be able to see that little graph, and
then show people from there, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So, Agro, are you into other cryptos?
Sorry?
You into any other crypto currency?
Yeah. I've got like, oh my god, like ADA. What I got? I got ADA, Link, Dot, VChain, VThor, Dexa, Omi, fucking just like degen coins, Theta Fuel.
I've got some of those too.
Yeah. Which is good. Like the way I see it, like if I can put $1,000 into something and it goes to like 5K, like
hello.
Do you know what I mean? But
the problem, the problem with all of those shit coins, right, is apart from the fact that they're shit coins.
Oh no, they're very shit. They're extremely shit.
Is that when it does pump, then you're sweating.
When do you
sell? How much do I sell? Do I take my profit now, half of it? And then what you'll end up doing is you'll end up selling too early, and so you'll make a little bit of money, but nowhere near what you could have made. Or you'll FOMO in or out and end up just like back where you started, or you try to chase it. I mean, you just get into that whole world of trying to, time the market, and trying to time the market is the sure way of like failing. Like the people who made money in crypto, the people who held really long, like at least 3 or 4 years, at least, if not, like 5, 6, 7. But even then, you'll at every time, like, I got into Bitcoin when it was $500. You know what I mean? Like, like if trying to time the market, I would have sold when it was in the thousands. I mean, I did all sorts of stuff with my money. Like I got scammed a couple of times. I did invest in things that went well, and I got money out of them. I invested in other things that went really, really well, and then came all the way back down again. Like all sorts of kind of mistakes. But as soon as you're trying to time it, and because your emotions come into it, and your emotions are the most terrible way to judge an investment. So when you know that you can just lock it into Hex, chuck it out, you earn interest at the very least. And that's the very least. And like this thing is going to has got potential regardless of that. You know what I mean? So like, I mean, to me, it's a complete no-brainer once you realize that you can make money on interest and on the increase of the value of the token.
Yeah, I know. But so for me, I think...
Go on.
No, go.
No, and you've got this like community, which we've never ever seen before, where you've got like tons of people doing live streams. You've got tons of like stuff happening in it. Like Twitter is just awash with Hexicans in crypto Twitter, and like they are active and they're vocal because they're being gatekept. See, the controversy is brilliant. The controversy is what we want.
Yeah, why is everyone so hard on Hex for? I don't. Well, because I think it's a scam.
It's so interesting. There's all sorts of different reasons, and it's a tough question to answer. But basically, they haven't looked into it properly. They are letting their emotions make their judgment for them, rather than looking into it, into the nuts and bolts, and into the mathematics. And the reason that they let their emotions take over is because people are taught to value respectability and status. You know what I mean? And so if they're following someone who they think has status, and this person is saying this certain thing, then they think that person is correct and right.
Right.
But that often these people, see, the people who have status in the past, they're people who have been holding on to these, like Bitcoin and Ethereum, for a very long time. And so their bags are in that. And for them to change their thinking, it was also because of the character that Richard Hart was. He triggers people. Because he's culturally very free. Like, he'll talk about his sexuality. Like, he'll talk about he'll have a girl in a bikini on stream. He's very un-PC. And so for all these people who came from, like, college-educated, very kind of PC enforced backgrounds, when they, I mean, a lot of them see him and they're meant to hate that. Like, he represents, because, and it also has to do with how Hex was marketed at the very start. Like, Richard Hart really marketed it. He wanted to simulate the marketing of a scam, because his logic was, all these people are getting scammed. I'm going to save them. I'm going to use the same marketing, but I'm going to get them into something that is brilliant. So he went and did the similar marketing to what a scam would do. But then all the people who are supposedly these crypto brains and stuff, they go and see that, and because he's such an unashamed marketer, they think that he's just greedy, and because they are greedy themselves, they get triggered by that. But they don't want to. They repress it. They don't want to admit that they're greedy. They say that they're in it for the tech. So when he is just like doing this all this big freedom, they get triggered by that, and then and because their friends are saying that it's, or their people they look up to are saying that it's a scam, then they're already on that side.
Yeah,
and so it's all about emotions and it's echo chambers, rather than going in and looking at the contract, seeing what it does, getting the macro perspective, it's so simple. People lock up their money by staking it out long term. That locks up supply. As the demand stays constant or increases, that's just going to increase the price. It's really that simple. But
can I give my take on
why? Please. Yeah, please.
Why Hex is so controversial?
Please.
Or may say hated. So Richard Hart, who was the founder, he's a very intelligent man. Growing up, he was in like the gifted kids class, and he retired young because he was a businessman, and he had some successful businesses and some unsuccessful business, but he made money, and he got into crypto, and he's just really good at what he does. Like in the crypto space, he's very well known. He's been around for a long time, and he knows everything about crypto. And when Richard speaks, he speaks truth. He doesn't hide behind anything. He's raw and he's down to earth. And people don't like that. People don't like the truth, and they don't like that he's so raw. And then he'll just basically tell you to fuck off. If he thinks you're lying or you're not telling the absolute truth, he'll tell you to fuck off, or you're speaking shit. And yeah, he's just very down the point. He's very good at what he does. And I think a lot of people either fear him rejecting them or just think he's too much competition. And yeah, he's got a big personality. Like, he loves women, and I mean, I would say, yeah, he's a bit of a womanizer. I mean, he's not the kind of guy that settled down and had the family. You know, he'll tell everyone about his experiences going and picking up women and that. And you know, it's very funny. All us Hexicans think it's pretty funny. And the thing is, this man, I mean, I've spoken to him on Telegram a couple of times, and he's always so lovely. Like, he is the kind of guy who's got lots and lots of money, and he doesn't think he's better than you. He's, you know, one of those guys that thinks, he's just, his attitude towards everyone else is just like, chill. Like, he doesn't think his shit doesn't stink, and his nose isn't in the air. Like, you know, most rich people's are. And I don't think people like that. And people don't like that. He'll call it out. If he thinks you're a dickhead or you're stupid, he'll call you out. And he doesn't care who's around and who's watching. He'll basically tell you. So I think a lot of people don't like that about him, about his personality being so honest and raw. And, you know, I mean, I think the Hexicans are the people who can see through the bullshit, and they see in Richard Hart, he's got so many qualities with his personalities that you can see through it, and you can see him for who he is. And he's a person that really is doing great things in the space and not getting the recognition that he deserves. So it's quite frustrating to watch these interviews with these horrible people giving him a hard time about this and that, and him having to defend himself all the time, which he does quite well. I mean, he's a pretty tough guy. And it's just all these hurtful people who don't do their research, as Blue Bum says. They just listen to, like, they're all followers. Like, one person says something, oh, well, it must be right, you know. And they don't research it at all, see what it is, and not interested. And, you know, that's their loss. But that's just my take on it. And if you do get the opportunity, you know, check him out. Have a look at his Twitter. Have a look at his YouTube, because his streams are quite lengthy, but they're full of information, and you can see his personality and his expertise in crypto come out. And he teaches you things too. You learn from him.
Yeah.
And they're all time-stamped as well. So you can go to his interviews and you can just see what he's been talking about. And so you can just jump to different things. So, yeah, it's really worth, like, checking out his past streams and just going through what he's talked about.
Because I watched that video of that guy with the glasses. That's why I put him on as a joke. That Israeli guy or whatever.
The
dude that was calling
breath.
Yeah, that was calling him.
It's so interesting, eh? He was like a parody. He was like a character, like that. He was like playing a character. No, he's a real guy. Yeah, he's a real guy, I think. But it was so weird because it was like he was a parody. It was like he was a bad actor.
I know.
Yeah.
What was the Hex? Flame said the controversy was the Hex flush account. What was the Hex flush account?
Oh, basically,
the F flush account. Sorry, F.
Well, there are two accounts in the Hex contract. There's the OA, the origin address, and there's the flush account. And there were two ways of getting. Well, there's a few ways of getting Hex, but like the two main ways were. I'm not going to go into all that, but there was if you wanted to buy Hex, you sent ETH to this flush account, and that flush account was basically. Like it's anything. It's like anything. If you have a product and you want to buy something, you send some money and you get that product. But because, I don't even really know what the controversy was. That was the controversy. The controversy was that people were sending ETH in order to get Hex, and these people thought that Hex was worth nothing, and so they were sending away their valuable ETH to get this stupid token.
Isn't that the objective of trading a coin for a coin? I don't understand.
Yeah, they were accusing him of flushing, accusing him of washing it. So basically, double spending. So
they were accusing him of the wash trading. That didn't even make any sense whatsoever. They were accusing him of wash trading, like that address was buying the Hex itself, right?
Oh, right. Okay.
And so it was all fake.
Why was that happening?
But it was all on chains. You could see that it wasn't happening.
Oh, it wasn't happening?
No, it wasn't happening at all. You could see it on chain, and that's the whole point about a blockchain. It's all public. You can see it wasn't happening.
You can see what's going on.
There was at some point, I think somebody, like there was this guy who was putting money into because they had the way throughout the launch period, every day people put money into this ETH bucket, and there was Hex there, and at the end of the day, it was emptied out. So depending on what percentage of ETH you put in, you got that much of the percentage of that day's Hex, and that happened every day. It was like it's called a Dutch auction or something like that, and it happened every day. And so there were some days when people were. Because there was also Uniswap came in after a few months, And so this guy was basically like just arbitraging so that he would just like basically getting free money. And I think the Origin address saw that happening, and so then they were just basically towards the end of the day, they were making it so that he couldn't do that arbitrage. They were putting a little bit in just so that he couldn't do that arbitrage. And so that is the biggest controversy, really, I think. But even so, it was the OA it was the OA protecting its coin, because this guy was just taking free money out of the system.
Who?
This guy who was just this guy who ended up dumping all his hex and selling way too early. And then he went on to make his own Wise token, a copycat.
Is that the same guy?
I think so. Yeah. And you know what? I'm not even sure of all of this, because I never went in to look at all of the chain analysis myself. So a lot of this is also just fucking stories and rumors, and I might have a lot of this wrong, but it had something to do with that. But pretty much from what I've seen, the OA has only ever been protecting Hexicans, protecting the stakers, and doing moves in order to look at the health of the system, of the Hex ecosystem. And like, for instance, now the OA address holds a whole lot of liquid Hex. Now, if the OA address staked that Hex, then we'd get a lot less interest. But the way the system works is that there is a big whale, a big benevolent whale called the OA. And that big benevolent whale is actually holding up the price, because they're not selling any of their coins, and they're just holding them all their liquid.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So then, how do we know that the OA is not going to drop, not just going to pump and fucking be on their way?
They've already got tons of money, because they got all of the ETH from all of the Hex. So the OA is incredibly rich. The OA has like literally billions, or millions, or billions, or whatever. It's
because they have to trade it. Okay.
And if it like any company, right? Like any company is the same thing. There's the made, like Elon Musk owns like whatever he owns of Tesla. Now Elon Musk is not going to dump his Tesla stock for US dollars, because if he holds on to it, that holds up the price. So him holding on to it holds up its value and the value of everybody else. So like economic centralization actually works in that sense. If you have a benevolent, and it's even in their self-interest. They don't even necessarily have to be benevolent. You don't have to look at them as good or bad. It's their incentives are aligned. By them, they've got plenty of money. The OA, they've got tons and tons of money. They can do whatever they want. They've put all this effort into creating this coin, creating this ecosystem of like making sure the stakers, making sure the health of the ecosystem. So it's in their interest to hold the Hex, because also that means the market cap goes up. Because if it was staked, that would be out of circulation, and so the market cap would be lower. But because it's held liquid, that's how come the market cap, and the market cap is really just like an advertising. The market cap doesn't really mean anything.
What does that mean? Is that the amount of money?
It's an amount of circulating coins times the price. That's market cap.
Oh, so it's not like how much money is actually, like how much money is within. Oh, sorry. How do I say this?
Yeah. So the thing with Hex is that when you stake Hex, it's kind of like burning the Hex, because what you're doing is you're turning it into shares, right? So when you stake Hex, you're taking it out of the supply, but that's also taking it out of the circulating supply, right? So the market cap is just whatever Hex is in liquid form that could be sold times the price. So because the OA holds a big chunk of that, that makes the market price go up and look big.
Oh, and then by that you get more people on board to stake more, and then okay, right, to buy more.
If the Origin address decided to sell whatever, like $3 billion worth of Hex or whatever they have, the price would just go to near zero. It'd be them just destroying their whole project. It'd just be them like throwing away their money and destroying all of the work that they did.
Yeah, but they're already making.
They already like collected a whole ton of ETH for a whole year. So they're sitting on a massive bag of ETH. They're sitting on the Hex, but they're never going to sell that. They haven't sold that, any of that, and you can go on chain and look at that. But they're never going to sell it because it's much more valuable to them to keep it, and the value of the whole system goes up and up and up and up until they have like an absolutely ridiculous amount of money.
Right.
Like that's when it becomes like $1 trillion. Like Bitcoin's $1 trillion
market cap.
Market cap.
Do you reckon we could get there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, easy. It's gonna be a lot quicker than people think.
Really?
Yeah, that's in my opinion. Because the way Hex only has to go to 57 cents, I think, or something like that, to be. Maybe it's a bit more now because Bitcoin's. I don't know, but it was something. It's under $1. Hex gets to $1, and we have the highest market cap of crypto.
And people will lose their fucking minds.
They're going to lose their minds. They're going to lose their shit because even though market cap is only a vanity metric, like it doesn't really mean anything. But it's how they've rated all of these cryptos. Like when you go to any website, it's all about market cap. It's all the order of its market cap. And so when Hex flips it, like when Hex even gets into, like you should have seen, like even when it was in the top 10 people, it was like a bit of a thing. Like once it starts like flipping these, like gets in the top 5, top 3, top 2, when it becomes the top crypto, like people are going to lose their shit because they're going to have to find a new metric to measure them on. They're going to have to find a new way to gatekeep it.
Oh God.
Where's Daddy?
It's a rabbit hole, mate. Hex is a rabbit hole. Like once you start looking into it, like a lot of things about the whole crypto industry, you realize a lot of the fuckery that goes on, and you realize a lot of the bullshit as well, like market cap. Did we end up knowing what happened to Mt. Gox?
Did they end up getting all the money back from that whole shabazzle?
No, they're still waiting. They're still waiting for that, and I think they're gonna release it this year or something. And when they do, that's Bitcoin dumping big time.
Because all
of these, there's going to be millions of Bitcoins given to all these people who didn't have it for years, and now they've got it, and they're not going to be holding. They're going to be dumping
straight
big
away.
time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. And they did work it out. It was Craig Wright who hacked it.
It was who?
Because it came Craig Wright,
Who's
fake
that?
Satoshi. Craig Wright, he's this Aussie dude. He's this character, and he started. Where did he start on Craig Wright? He claimed to be Bitcoin. So he claimed to be Satoshi.
Right.
And he did this big elaborate thing where he got people in a room and he was going to sign the Genesis lock and prove that he was Satoshi, but then he did some sort of something or other and he signed something. He did something else. It was something technical. I didn't fully understand. But basically, he's a scammer and he's been suing all of these people, but also governments are after him. So he's just in all of these legal battles. And as part of those legal battles, it came out that he was the guy. Like I can't remember the exact evidence, but he submitted some evidence that he had control over certain Bitcoin addresses, and they were the addresses that a lot of the hacked Mt. Gox's money went to, or something like that.
Right. Okay.
You want to look into that. There's also a great clip of Richard Hart calling out Craig Wright. Like Craig Wright was doing some talk at a Bitcoin conference somewhere, and Richard Hart just basically says, "Oh, you're Satoshi, are you? Okay," and he's just asking him all these questions, and just puts him right on the spot in this huge public forum, and just basically. It's a great little clip, man. It's fantastic.
It's like the dominoes are falling.
Like, he's a smart guy, Richard Hart. He's really, really smart. He's been in this space a long time. He knows crypto. He knows, like, he's not a full-on dev, like as some people are, but he's enough of a one to, like, you know, like when they did audits, he could pick up some of the problems that the auditors didn't pick up, you know, because when you do an audit, you kind of like, it's a back and forth between the people and the auditors for a while, as you're fixing things and they're fixing things, because you want the audit to come out all beautiful at the end, you know what I mean? So an audit is a process, and he was picking up stuff, you know, he was picking up stuff that they should have picked up, and you know what I mean? So he comes at it from a very different perspective, because he's been a businessman. He's got a very business logic perspective, and he's kind of, it sounds like to me like he's had to learn a lot of the programming kind of stuff, but he wouldn't call himself a Solidity like the programmer. Maybe he's a developer but not a programmer. I mean, you know what I mean? Like he knows enough to oversee developers, but not necessarily, he wouldn't go and develop it himself.
Yeah, no, makes sense.
He's not a code monkey, I guess. But he probably is, you know, compared to us. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
So, you know that Japanese guy that's always like paraded as Satoshi. Is that is that him, or is that just like a meme?
No, that's a meme. He was a guy who was just like they found, he was in California or something, or I don't know. They found this dude who's apparently was his name, but he had no idea who. He had nothing to do with cryptography or anything like that.
Yeah, because I saw.
I mean, it could have been also. There was also someone that lived around the corner from someone. But I think that guy in the meme, I think he was just some dude who had the same. His name happened to be Satoshi Nakamoto. But he was
because I saw
very obviously
him
not
like,
him or something.
Yeah, but I saw videos of him at like conferences and stuff. So I don't know.
Oh, really?
He might just be one other person who thinks that they're Satoshi Nakamoto. Like,
yeah, but like, how do you?
No. He never claimed it. He never claimed it. He was just kind of like drawn into this whole world because people were claiming that it was him, and so he had all this press around and stuff like that. And then I guess like some conferences invited him out to try to, you know, there were stories about that. I can't remember them though, to be honest. Like whether he, like at first he was like, "What the fuck's all this?"
What's a Bitcoin?
Yeah, he didn't know jack shit. But then later people invited him out as a way of apologizing. So they invited him out and made him the meme, and I don't know, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but like, what incentive do the founders have to not come out and say, "Hey, this is me," or "Hey, yeah, we created it"?
Well, basically, they didn't want governments coming after them.
Still, do you reckon?
They were afraid of that.
Do you reckon that'll still be the case, or?
Look, there's all sorts of rabbit holes here, mate. Because there was, like, a lot of people.
Sorry, Blue.
No, I mean, I just wish I could give you better kind of like more accurate information, because I mean, I've read a whole ton of this stuff, but my information is so patchy that I'll probably get a whole lot of shit wrong and stuff like that. Like,
that's right.
I'm not an expert at all, so.
It's just know that when I'm talking to you. No, I know, man. I know. It's a start, though. It's a start. Go.
But basically, like, there was some CIA or FBI like paper that got released, that has been released, and in it they're describing what Bitcoin is. So there are rumors that there is some sort of deep state connection to like what made Bitcoin. So, but the more probable thing is that he was just a person who realized governments would be, and he maybe didn't want fame. You know, he's just a cryptographer, and he was just doing his thing, and he wanted to invent this thing, and he did it for a while, and then he realized he just wanted to move on or something like that. You know, but people have done language analysis on him, like he used kind of English spelling and some English words maybe, as opposed to US American, but it was also probably it might have been a group of people, and people have gone back to all those old chats and they've like gone through it and tried to suss out who he is, but basically in the end, no one knows, and you know, he didn't want to be known, obviously, so he made it. But that a lot of the cypherpunks were really into privacy, you know, really want their privacy, and a lot of people want their privacy, you know what I mean?
In general, yeah.
And like he didn't want to be responsible. The other thing is that it's like he's inventing this decentralized money. He's like probably was like, I don't want to be a leader. This shouldn't have a leader. Like everyone has to work it out. This has to work in the wild. You know what I mean? With whatever stakeholders and how they come to their consensus. The tragedy with that was that the developers ended up taking control of it, and they have kind of like stunted all development. Like that's what there was block wars of 2017 where people wanted to increase the block size to scale. It was the old scaling debate, and the developers didn't want to scale because they had huge bags of it and they wanted to protect their wealth. And they didn't want to. They were afraid of wrecking it. And at the time, their arguments were, no, we were going to like make it more efficient first. But then, as the years went on and on and on, nothing happened, and now we've just got this thing which basically hasn't developed at all. That you can send, receive. That's kind of like secured only against, like the whole mining thing is a scam as well. And you want to go to bed, Sammy Chica?
Yeah, I think I'm turning into a pumpkin. It's been a long day.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah. It's only
right.
11 o'clock here in Brisbane. I'm in Queensland. I'm cool, yeah.
It's midnight.
Yeah.
I'll say good night. Thanks for having me, Blue Bum.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, Sammy. Really appreciate it.
Take care.
Yeah, beautiful.
All the best.
Ciao.
Enjoy. And then there was two.
Yeah, last two. So what was I saying?
Yeah, but you were saying about how mining's a scam. So how is mining a scam?
Yeah.
Because I thought like that. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, it's protection racket. Like, so what they're protecting the network against is a 51% attack. You know how Bitcoin works, yeah?
Not sort of, not really.
So the way Bitcoin works is that these people run a computer program that basically computes a mathematical problem. That's what an algorithm is. And what they do is by doing that, they're securing the network so that people, and creating these blocks, which becomes the blockchain, right? So they print the money, and along with them printing the money, they're printing all of the transactions that happen. The blockchain is basically just a big database.
Right.
And so the miners secure the network by printing the transactions of the database, and as a reward for that, they get Bitcoin. They get to mine. They get Bitcoin, and then they get to sell that Bitcoin onto the marketplace, and then that goes into transactions, and so that goes along and in this block. And the reason it's called a blockchain is because it's immutable. You can't change it.
Right.
But if somebody has more than 51% of the network in terms of hashing power, in terms of computer power, then they can take over the chain and rewrite the database.
Has that happened?
Can you turn off the... I hear an echo. I hear myself talking. Is that you or...
No, I can't because I got headphones on. Give me a sec.
Maybe it can't be me, can it? Oh, that's better. No.
Is that better now?
Let me just speak for a bit. That's cool. Yeah, that's good. So yeah, so they're basically securing it against like a whole lot of other people, yet running up a whole lot of computers with running this same algorithm, and then jumping on and rewriting the database. So then they can change a transaction to be sent from over here to them or something like that, right?
Okay.
That's what they're protecting against. But the only people with enough computing power to do that are the miners. So they're just protecting. So there's a few miners. It used to be there was like tons of miners, but now it's concentrated into these big mining farms. And there is actually pools. So even within these mining farms, they put them into pools. So in actual fact, there's only like probably there's only a handful of people who are securing the network in terms of decision making and who control all of that hashing power.
For Bitcoin specifically?
Yeah, talking about Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, so they're only I guess the theory was that when they started Bitcoin, that sometime in the future, governments could build these big computers and they could attack the network by 51% attacking. But that doesn't happen, and it can't happen now because it's just too big. So the miners are just actually protecting it against themselves. So as long as they have consensus in terms of, as long as they're not attacking each other, like which has happened in the past with when other forks of Bitcoin came along and people were jumping from one chain to another and Ethereum Classic, the original Ethereum, that has been 51% attacked a number of times as well.
Has that crashed? Did that like flunk or?
No, that's the weird thing. It's been 51% attacked a couple of times, and the price just stayed the same. And it's because hardly anyone's using the network and hardly anyone is buying and selling Ethereum Classic. And if you do have it, and then all of a sudden you hear about a 51% attack, and you kind of go, oh shit, what's going to happen? And maybe you sell your coins, but not enough people sold the coins to make much of a difference in the price.
Of course. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, so, I mean, when Ethereum Classic split from Ethereum Classic, I thought that was the end of Ethereum. I thought, okay, well, it got hacked and they rolled back the chain. So it's not an immutable chain. And I thought, well, that's just the end of it. Like, no one's going to trust that. But people did keep on trusting and they kept on building in it. In fact, people just built tons and loads of money poured into it. But then later on, another person got hacked, and he was one of the people who was the original developers, and they wouldn't roll the chain back to him. So although it is possible, it's probably not possible because it would take too much. There's no way that it would get enough consensus to happen now. Like because it happened in the early, and Bitcoin has been rolled back before as well. Bitcoin has had at least had 2 inflation bugs, and in one of them they had to roll back the chain. But it happened so early on in Bitcoin's story that people didn't really care. You know what I mean? Satoshi just did then he rolled back the chain, and that was all fixed.
Right. So when you roll back the chain, do you just
rolling back the chain just means
are you reversing the transactions?
Whatever. If the hacker stole money from this account and put it to this account, a roll back the chain means you rewrite the database so it takes the money back from them back to where it was. So now the whole point about a blockchain is it's meant to be immutable. It's meant to be set in stone and can never be changed. But if somebody has control over it, because one person is not meant to have control over it. But Satoshi rolled back the chain because he had control over it, because it was early days and it was just a small thing and people didn't really give a shit. And it was probably, I think it was in 2010, so I'm not even sure whether Bitcoin was, well, it would have been worth the money at the time, yeah, but it would have been not worth very much. And yeah, it would have been probably like in the thousands of people who would have even known about Bitcoin back then, you know?
Yeah. No, I definitely knew about Bitcoin back in the. I think I knew about Bitcoin back when I started to look at like the deep web, like into that deep web sort of space, going on to like, you know, organ harvesting websites and things like that by accident. Trust me, by accident, not out of want. But you know, I was young and impressionable and a bit silly, but it was funny. And then I started to look because I was saying like, oh, I can buy some Bitcoin. Like maybe that's something that I should do. And then at the time, either like I was young and didn't know how it worked, but it was more like you have to converse with people on forums, meet up with them, like, you know, then literally transfer the data like in person in order to like gain the bit. There was like a big exchanges. And I thought to myself, as like a fucking 16-year-old, this is way too much effort. Like, I don't know what the fuck's going on. Right. And that was back when, you know, that was back when MySpace was finishing up. So I think our interests were elsewhere, but, like I definitely knew about it a long time ago. If I, you know, hindsight's a wonderful thing, man. If I knew, I would have bought $10 and I would have been sitting on half a bill. Do you know what I mean? But it's a farce.
No, you would have sold it. You would have sold it at $30.
I was about to.
If you were a 16-year-old with $10 of Bitcoin, you would have sold it probably at like between $80 and $100.
Yeah, and I would have been laughing. I was like, "Oh, 300K, yeah." Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's crazy because everyone you know, sometimes you see charts and it's like, oh yeah, the price went up like $310,000. Sorry, 310,000% in like a year, but you know, you're probably not going to hold it to like the fourth all-time high after the corrections. You would have done it, you know.
No, people are human. People are human, and they would have. You know, you sell half when it pumps, and then you sell another half if it pumps more, and then it dips, and you buy back in, or you sell again, or whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
or you just get burnt.
Or you get burnt. You get rid of it. You do. You know. I mean, you're a human. You know, like humans have weak hands.
Yeah.
You know, the very few people who didn't have weak hands were probably independently wealthy, and so they didn't have to sell. But anyone who had not much money, they're going to be selling on the way up.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? My God. Yeah, if you could go back, there, it'd be I don't know. I'd probably buy.
You know what I reckon. You know what I reckon the best investment has been in my life. Has been anytime I've invested in myself.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people say.
Anytime I've bought a book, if I've like gone on a course, like gone traveling somewhere, had an experience, paid for an experience, or just done something that excites me or that I'm curious about. That's always been the best investment. Like the money thing is fine if you want to chase that, you know what I mean? It's like, but it's very limited, you know what I mean?
Where's the ceiling?
I mean, and you know, you make money, and who gives a shit? So you made money, you know, like you've reached that. It's so much more fun to have experiences and to do stuff, like to stretch yourself, do stuff you've never done before. You know, like that's how you grow. That's how you get awesome stories about life stories, and that's how you have awesome things happen to you. Like you don't have awesome things happen to you just chasing after money on a computer. You know what I mean?
Chasing 15% weekly gains. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know.
Well, that's how life slips by.
Because I think that's why me and my partner decided to move down to the beach. You know, we didn't want to. We sort of wanted to live that more coastally lifestyle because we could have lived in suburbia all our lives you know what? I think that there's more to the human experience than living in the suburbs and being subject to the rat race, so to speak. And once and we came down to the beach, and honestly, Blue, I would never go back. But I think like I invested in a place down here, but that investment is in turn an experience in and of itself. Which is cool. So I wholeheartedly get what you're saying. Yeah, it's just. Who knows, man? Maybe Hex can catapult us into proper financial freedom, so we can experience new things every day.
Yeah, well, I do, and it totally will. Like, it's a no-brainer. It's actually, people don't realize how scary it's going to be for them. Hexicans don't realize how scary it is and how challenging it's going to be. Like it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun and all that kind of stuff. Well, just having a lot of money, like, it brings other sorts of challenges. You might call them problems, but it brings all sorts of, like, how do you, all of a sudden you have all these options. You have a ton of freedom. Life is way easier when you have very few options.
Yeah.
When you have tons of options, there's anxiety because then you have to find other ways to make decisions. Like,
yeah, you're right.
Like, if you had as much money and you didn't have to worry about earning a living, then now what do I do? Just sit here and am I going to go traveling? And then people start traveling, and then they go, okay, now I've traveled a bit and I'm seeing stuff, but what am I actually doing? And then you have to go into yourself and you have to start extending yourself and growing yourself and and with a whole lot of wealth is going to come a whole lot of economic power. And it's like, how are people going to use that power? You give it away to your friends and family, but then how far do you go in terms of layers of friends and family?
Where's that circle? Where does it stop?
And do they want stuff? And then it's also like, well, hang on, maybe I want to, what's giving me meaning in life? What am I actually doing? What do I want to do? Do I want to build something? Do I want to, if I want to help people, how do I want to help people? How can I help people without fucking them up? It's going to be all sorts of challenges that people don't realize yet. And it's going to be really, really, really great. People are going to grow and people are going to make mistakes and they're going to learn and, life goes on and all that kind of stuff. And it's a whole new set of experiences, I think, in having wealth. And yeah.
And we'll all do it together as a community, which I think is the cool part as well. Also, how many people are going to drop off the public radar though as well? Like, if they have extreme, well, once people have extreme wealth, maybe they won't want to be setting themselves up as targets. For scammers, for people who, I don't know, man. I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't know. Like estranged family members that are trying to swindle you out of cash. Maybe.
I don't know. No, I'm not sure what it will bring. It's going to bring a whole new set of experiences, that's for sure, I reckon.
That'll be a good one. You'll be a good one. Anyways, Blue, I think that's for me, man. I'm going to go to bed because I have to go to the market tomorrow and buy some fresh produce.
Thanks, man. Get some good fresh veggies and fruits into your Vic Market or what? Which market do you go to? Which market do you go to? The Vic Market or?
No, the one in Seaford Market.
Ah, Seaford Market, nice one. Haven't been there.
Yeah, so it's like it's pretty small. It's mainly just like people from down on the peninsula, that like mum and dad sort of hobby farms and things like that.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, but they've got like really, really good like grass fed meat, and all the vegetables are fantastic. We'll probably go there and then go to the beach, and then I don't know, see where the day takes us, man.
Nice one, man.
Enjoy. It was a pleasure meeting you, man. Thanks for letting me on your stream, and can't wait to do it again, man. It'll be good. Thank you.
Sweet, bro. See you later, man. And see you to everyone who's been, the 3 people have been watching. 4 people are watching.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys. See you, Flames. See you, Nard. Narda's probably already gone. Whoever else is here. Thanks a lot, and yeah, all good. See you guys.
All the best. See you guys. Ciao.